Chapter 746. The Dominator of the Death Star Area. Whoosh. As soon as these words were spoken, Baijiu frowned and snorted with an extremely cold expression. Although I don't know where you found out about the Death Star region, you actually call yourself the Death Overlord. How laughable. Alas, why is it that no one believes Ben Xiao when he speaks the truth? The Death Star area is a rubbish place, and it is just Ben Xiao's vacation place. Wang Kai shook his head and sighed helplessly. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have gained 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. How arrogant. Since you are not willing to hand over Senior Wu, don't blame me for being ruthless. Buzz. Rumble. In an instant, Baijiu flipped his hand and threw out a blue palm print. The blue palm print began to expand infinitely. In the blink of an eye, it had become a palm larger than the Buzhou Sky Palace. The *M in it. Starguard Realm, old pig, come out and kill him. Buzz. Wang Kai cursed when he saw this. He immediately took out the Buzhou Sky Palace and released it with his mind. Then, Zhu Beiji's figure appeared from within. Humph, he is just a lower-grade Starguard trash. Master, watch carefully. Whoosh. Zhu Beiji sneered with disdain. He waved his 9-toothed rake and slammed it against the giant palm. Rumble. Rumble. Following a series of explosions in the air, the blue palm print dissipated into nothingness. Peak Starguard. Who are you? Baijiu's pupil shrank when he saw that. The astral source power that Zhu Beiji had just displayed was definitely at the peak of astral source power. It was 6 grades higher than his. Peak 9th grade Starguard. I, Zhu Beiji, am Marshal Tianpeng. I am now the disciple of Master Wang Kai. If you know what's good for you, get over here and kneel down to accept your death. Zhu Beiji snorted proudly. He swung his 9-toothed rake and carried it on his shoulder. Marshal Tianpeng, a disciple of Wang Kai's master? Baijiu did not understand what he said, but it was not important. After all, what he said had proved how powerful Wang Kai was. An expert at the peak of the Starguard realm was Wang Kai's disciple. How powerful was Wang Kai? Unfathomable. Are you really the dominator of the Death Star area? No, that is impossible. If the Death Dominator left the Death Star area, there would be experts who would stop him. Who are you? Who the hell are you? Baijiu frowned. Her expression was uncertain for a moment. What Wang and the others had brought him was too shocking. A peak Starguard could become a young man's disciple. That was too. I have told you 800 times. Ben Xiao is the dominator of the Death Star area. He is known as the Death Dominator. It means that whoever acts tough in front of Ben Xiao, no matter what realm they are in, will die. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled calmly. Congratulations to the host for successfully acting tough. You have gained 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Huh? What Master said makes sense. As the dominator of the extraterrestrial starry sky, I have to be so. Zhu Beiji laughed. He liked the feeling of acting tough. The dominator of the extraterrestrial starry sky? However, Baijiu sneered and said disdainfully, You said you were the Death Dominator, and now you say you are the dominator of the extraterrestrial starry sky. Huh? Do you think the Death Dominator can control the extraterrestrial starry sky? Isn't that so? Ben Xiao can easily become the dominator of any place. For example, in Tianzhou, Ben Xiao is the dominator now. Whoever you want to die will die. Wang Kai shrugged and said with a rather indifferent smile, Congratulations to the host for successfully acting tough. You have gained 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Crazy. Crazy enough. Baijiu was stunned by his words. He had to admit that it was admirable that Wang Kai could reach such a level at such a young age. His boldness and arrogance were truly admirable. Whoever he wanted to die would die. Was this something that anyone dared to say? I am Baijiu, a cultivator from the White Tiger Star. When I went out to train, I was ambushed by my enemies. In order to escape, I fell into Tianzhou. Thanks to Senior Wu's help, I recuperated in Tianzhou for 100 years and recovered. Now that I have recovered, I will naturally leave Tianzhou and return to the White Tiger Star. However, before that, I would like to repay Senior Wu's help. Although I don't know who you are, I hope you can release Senior Wu. When I return to the White Tiger Star in the future, I will definitely thank you with a great gift. After listening to Bai Jiuyo's brief description of her relationship with Wu Junyun, Wang Kai came to a sudden realization. No wonder Bai Jiuyo could have such a cultivation at such a young age. It turned out that he was not from Tianzhou, but a cultivator from the White Tiger Star. Thank you with a great gift? What great gift? You led an army to take revenge on Ben Shao. Are you risking your life? TSK. Bai Jiuyo, you must have lost your mind after 100 years of recuperation. Do you have a nerve to use such a clumsy delaying tactic? Wang Kai shrugged and sneered with a look of disdain. Swoosh! However, Bai Jiuyo was not moved at all. Instead, he looked solemn and said firmly, "Don't compare me with those treacherous villains. If you can make an exception, I will keep my word. I will never go back on my word. Master, why don't we trust him this time? I've heard about the White Tiger Star from that damned horse protector one. It's one of the 4-symbol star zone and is extremely powerful. If we can establish a connection with the White Tiger Star, Lao Sha, Master, and I will be able to achieve breakthroughs at an extremely fast pace." Zhu Beiji transmitted his voice to his master. Wang Kai squinted his eyes. He knew nothing about the 4-symbol star region. However, since Sun Wukong had mentioned it, it proved that it was useful. Although it was useless for him to break through his cultivation, it was a good choice for Zhu Beiji and Shao Wujing to quickly raise their cultivation. Moreover, Wu Junyun was only at the celestial source realm. He did not need such a servant. It was better to use him in exchange for a favor from Bai Jiuyo. With that thought, Wang Kai raised his eyebrows. He placed his hands behind his back and smiled calmly. "I can agree to your request. However, how are you going to convince Ben Shao? I'm not afraid to tell you this. That old man Wu Junyun originally wanted to kill me to silence me. Unfortunately, he ended up as a guard." Whoosh! Upon hearing this, Bai Jiuyo's eyes flickered. She was not too surprised, as she had already guessed that Wu Junyun must have been imprisoned by Wang Kai. Chapter 747. If you release Senior Wu, you can take this amber pearl as the price. When you reach 4-symbol star zone, show me this amber pearl, and I can guarantee you a smooth journey. If you use this pearl in White Tiger Star, you can come and go as you please. You have great power. Swoosh! As soon as Bai Jiuyo finished speaking, he threw a golden pearl that shone with a gentle luster at Su Mo Patter. Seeing this, Wang Kai's eyes narrowed slightly. With a flip of his hand, he received the bead that was the size of a baby's fist. After sizing it up, he could not help but smile in surprise. In the 4-symbol star zone, you can move unimpeded. In the White Tiger planet, you can obtain great authority. Are you sure you're not joking? Bai Jiuyo gave away such a valuable item just to repay Wu Junyun's kindness. This could only prove 3 points. First, Bai Jiuyo was a fool. Second, he was loyal to his friends. Third, the amber pearl was fake. Since you're the ruler of the extraterrestrial star, you should know about White Tiger Star. The amber pearl has been passed down for generations. Although mine is not the proof that I am the king of White Tiger Star, it is still below 2 people and above everyone else. You have no reason to doubt me, Bai Jiuyo said indifferently. Below 2 people? Above everyone else? He had only heard of below 1 person and above everyone else, but he had never heard of below 2 people. However, Wang Kai was speechless. He was just bragging and said that he was the ruler of the extraterrestrial star zone. Now, he had shot himself in the foot. If he said that the amber pearl was fake, he would be called ignorant. If he said that it was real, what if it was fake? Do you recognize this amber bead? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows slightly and secretly used his mind to send a message to Zhu Beiji and Shao Wujing. However, they shook their heads in confusion. They had been to the extraterrestrial star zone, but had never been to 4-symbol star zone. Master, we should find that damned horse protector. He has been to the 4-symbol star field and should be able to tell the difference. Moreover, he has the fiery eyes of truth. We can't let such a good ability go to waste. Zhu Beiji chuckled. He looked as if he really wanted to see Sun Wukong summoned by Wang Kai. The corners of Wang Kai's mouth twitched when he heard this. Putting aside the fact that summoning Sun Wukong required a huge amount of bragging points, with the current realm of the monkey, he would probably have to pay a huge price to be able to control him. Since that was the case, he might as well ask the system, is this Amber Pearl real or fake? Host, only by obtaining the Torch Dragon's eyes can the identification function be activated. Upon hearing the notification, Wang Kai's eyelids twitched. In the end, he had to waste some bragging points to settle this. The Torch Dragon's eyes. When you open your eyes, the sky is bright. When you close your eyes, the sky is dark. Bin Xiao remembered that it should only require 5,000 bragging points to obtain the Torch Dragon's eyes. Wang Kai frowned and secretly used his willpower. Congratulations, host, for successfully obtaining the Torch Dragon's eyes. 5,000 bragging points have been consumed. Congratulations, host, for successfully activating the identification function. 5,000 bragging points have been consumed. Host, Wang Kai profession, Star Warrior Realm. Level 3 Astral Source Star Technique. None Star Technique. None Identification. Torch Dragon's Eyes Equipment. Ever-changing Fan Star Power. Level 1 Astral Source Points. 20 Physique. Invulnerable Guardian Beast. None Bragging Points. 63,000 Experience. 31000005000000. Upon hearing the notification, Wang Kai's face turned sullen. 10,000 bragging points were gone just like that. Identify. Wang Kai had no choice but to grit his teeth and use his willpower. Buzz. Immediately afterwards, rays of colorful light emerged from Wang Kai's palm and shrouded the amber bead. Host, this amber bead is authentic. It is proof of your identity as a member of the royal family of White Tiger Star, Xixiang Domain. Whoosh! As the notification sounded, the seven-colored light also disappeared. However, Wang Kai was stunned when he heard it. It's actually real. What is this guy thinking? How dare he hand over such an important item? Wang Kai never expected Bai Jiuyo to be such a loyal and righteous person. Not bad. You're not bad. Bin Xiao admires you very much. Take this amber bead back. Bin Xiao will also release Wu Junyan. Wang Kai squinted and smiled calmly. Buzz! In an instant, under Bai Jiuyo's incredulous gaze, Wang Kai really threw the amber bead back to Bai Jiuyo and released Wu Junyan from Buzhou Sky Palace. Lad, what do you want me to do for you? First of all, I won't do anything that offends the heavens and reason. Jiuyo? Why are you in Tongtian Domain? When Wu Junyan appeared, he was fuming with anger. He was extremely displeased that Wang Kai had imprisoned him in the Buzhou Sky Palace. However, before he could finish speaking, he was shocked by Bai Jiuyo. Lad, you can order me around, but you can't do anything to Jiuyo. Wu Junyan's face turned serious, and he stared at Wang Kai with a murderous look. Wang Kai could not help but rub his nose when he saw this scene. It was no wonder that Bai Jiuyo would save him. Firstly, Wu Junyan had saved him and protected him, helping him recover for 100 years. Now, Wu Junyan was willing to fall out with him. It had to be said that brotherhood was mutual. If one did not show his sincerity, he would only receive pleasantries. Get lost. Bin Xiao doesn't care about you anymore. You're only at Celestial Source Realm. You're useless. Wang Kai waved his hand and said with a mocking smile, Did you hear that? Old bastard, get lost now. Zhu Beiji also waved his nine-toothed rake and snorted proudly. Senior Wu, let's go. We'll talk about the details later. Bai Jiuyo extended her hand and stopped Wu Junyan, who was about to explode. Go. Well, that lad, let us go. He's a bastard who eats people without spitting out the bones. Wu Junyan complained with an ugly expression. It was obvious how much he had been bullied by Wang Kai. As a Celestial Source Realm expert and a great elder of Sky Martial Divine Palace, this was the first time he had been bullied by a junior. Bullshit. When did Bin Xiao eat people? Besides, Bin Xiao doesn't spit out the bones when he eats. That's because Bin Xiao doesn't eat anything with bones. He eats the most delicious food in the entire star field. A single bite is worth an entire planet. Do you understand? Get lost now. Wang Kai frowned and snorted in an unfriendly tone. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Goodbye. I'll definitely repay you for your kindness today. Whoosh! Just as Wu Junyin was about to refute, Bai Jiuyo took the lead and cupped his fist together to express his gratitude. After taking a deep look at Wang Kai, he led the reluctant Wu Junyun away in the sky. Master, are we really going to let them go just like that? Zhu Beiji asked in surprise. What do you know? Master is a hero cherishing another hero. Who said that righteous people don't have good karma? Who said that evil people have a long life? That's because they haven't met our master yet. Sha Wujing rolled his eyes and hurriedly praised. Wang Kai was immediately satisfied. He closed his eyes and shook his head, pretending to enjoy it. Just as he was about to praise them, he heard Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing's exclamations. Damn, why is the sky so dark? Chapter 748. It's dark. Wang Kai was stunned when he heard that. He opened his eyes and looked around, only to realize that the sky was still clear. What the F***CK? It's bright again? What's going on? Zhu Beiji was shocked when he saw that. For a moment, he felt a little scared. Sha Wujing, who was beside him, also looked a little pale. It was dark one moment, and then it was bright all of a sudden. If such a strange phenomenon was caused by someone, how terrifying would that person be? How could there be such an elite in Tianzhou? Even Sun Wukong, who was at the 4-star realm, couldn't do it. F***CK. It's dark again. Who is it? Who is scaring me? Hurry up and come out. Eldest senior brother, don't talk nonsense. We can't afford to offend someone with such power. Just as Zhu Beiji was about to lose his patience and brandish his 9-toothed rake in anger, Sha Wujing, who was at the side, quickly pressed down on his 9-toothed rake and tried to persuade him. Wang Kai's ears twitched when he heard their screams. He couldn't help but smirk and slowly open his eyes. It's bright again. Damn it. Who is it? Did I see a ghost? Zhu Beiji was so angry that he couldn't stop trembling. He felt as though he was being played by someone. In fact, that was the case. The person who was playing him was none other than Wang Kai. The torch dragon's eye was bright when he opened his eyes, and dark when he closed his eyes. After testing it a few times, it was indeed powerful. At the same time, the entire Tianzhou was in shock. Regardless of whether it was the Empyrean Palace or any of the 3,000 forces, or even the ordinary martial artists, they all looked at the sky in panic. After a few repetitions of the sky turning dark and then the sky turning bright, anyone would start to panic. Even the elites of the Empyrean Palace were no exception. Achoo! Crackle, crackle, rumble, rumble. Suddenly, Wang Kai pinched his nose and sneezed. However, as he sneezed, lightning flashed and thunder rumbled. Dark clouds rolled in and heavy rain fell from the sky. However, it left as quickly as it came. After Wang Kai sneezed, all the unknown phenomena only lasted for dozens of breaths before they disappeared and the sky became clear again. What the hell? Shouldn't only the torch dragon possess such an ability? Bin Xiao has just obtained a pair of torch dragon eyes. How can they be so powerful? Wang Kai was also a little shocked when he saw this. He had intentionally sneezed just now as an experiment. Who would have thought that he would really summon the wind and rain, lightning flashing and thunder rumbling? Host, Torch Dragon's Eye contains all of Torch Dragon's abilities. Please use it with caution. Whoosh! Hearing the notification, Wang Kai's mouth twitched violently. For a moment, he didn't know whether it was a good or bad thing to obtain this ability. Master, that sneeze of yours just now was very deadly. Master, look below. Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing finally understood what was going on. Everything was Wang Kai's doing, even though they didn't know where he had gotten this ability from. The scene below had left them in a state of shock and disbelief. What's going on below? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows slightly when he heard this. He looked down with a puzzled expression, but the scene he saw was extremely shocking. Below them, the mountains and rivers had all been flattened by the lightning earlier. The residents of the city were also paralyzed on the ground by the heavy rain. Their breaths were extremely weak, and some even died directly. Most of them were martial artists. Moreover, their realms were very high. The highest was the Heavenly Path realm. Only the Heavenly Emperor and Heavenly Path realm experts still have their breaths. The experts below the Heavenly Emperor are all dead. Seeing this, Wang Kai's expression changed drastically. His eyes were filled with disbelief, and his heart was filled with speechlessness and deep guilt. Damn it, why didn't you tell me such an important thing? Now that things have turned out like this, how could Bin Xiao feel at ease? Wang Kai asked in a rather cold tone. Host, the power of the torch dragon's eye is related to your cultivation. Furthermore, the system has already reminded you to use it with caution. Hearing this reply, Wang Kai's face darkened even more. In the end, the system's reminder was not complete. Everything was based on one's cultivation. Now, that Wang Kai was at the celestial origin realm. With a sneeze and the amplification of the torch dragon's eye, no one below the celestial origin realm could withstand it. This is just a sneeze. If Bin Xiao really blows and glares, wouldn't that be? The more Wang Kai thought about it, the more afraid he became. If that was the case, everyone with a lower cultivation than him would die tragically. Damn it, forget it. Since Bin Xiao carelessly caused this disaster, then I'll let Bin Xiao bear it. But isn't this area too damn big? This time, there must be hundreds of thousands of deaths, right? There are also countless mountains and rivers. If I use my essence blood to save them, won't I bleed them dry? For a moment, Wang Kai's face turned even uglier, especially after estimating the number of deaths. More black lines appeared on his forehead. A drop of essence blood can save one person and restore all the cultivation he once had. However, if I don't restore his cultivation and only restore his life, I can save hundreds of thousands of people. However, my cultivation level will probably fall to the Heavenly Tao realm, right? Wang Kai frowned as he pondered over it. In the end, he could only grit his teeth and slap his chest, causing the essence blood to scatter. Buzz! At the same time, Wang Kai's cultivation dropped instantly. From grade 3 astral source to grade 1 astral source. Furthermore, Wang Kai also discovered that even though he was releasing his essence blood like this, his body was rapidly recovering and regenerating. The speed at which he was regenerating was extremely frightening. It was as if the amount of essence blood he released was the same amount he recovered in the next moment. Is this caused by the impenetrable body? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows slightly. As long as he was still in the astral source realm. So what if he fell by 2 grades? It was just bragging a little more. A man will bear the consequences of his own actions. Bin Xiao has never been afraid of trouble, and he dares to take responsibility for the trouble he caused. You guys should be secretly rejoicing. Only the kind and pure Bin Xiao would do something like harming others without benefiting himself. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled indifferently. Congratulations to the host for bragging successfully. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for breaking through to grade 2 astral source realm. Hearing the notification, Wang Kai immediately beamed with joy. He was only 1 level away from returning to his original cultivation level. However, this torch dragon eye is really annoying. I can't sneeze, I can't breathe, I can't even close my eyes. How many more problems do I have? How many more times do I have to make Bin Xiao bleed because of his mistakes? Wang Kai held his forehead with one hand, his expression filled with sorrow. Master, are you sick? Why bleed for no reason? As Zhu Beiji's questioning voice rang out, Wang Kai's mouth twitched violently. Chapter 749. Cut the crap. Quickly enter the Buzhou Sky Palace and leave this place as soon as possible. I'm afraid many celestial source realm and above experts have already noticed you. Wang Kai's face darkened. After saying that, he kept Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing into the Buzhou Heavenly Palace. Crack! Immediately after, the void was torn apart by Wang Kai. The moment he stepped into the void, all the aura was gone. Swoosh! Swoosh! At the same time, dozens of experts with terrifying auras appeared in the air. All of them frowned with fear in their eyes. They had clearly been there a moment ago, but their auras had vanished as soon as they entered the spatial crack. This proved that the difference between the two parties was very obvious. The dozens of experts exchanged glances with each other after searching for a while without any results. Then, they turned around and left one after another. Only the hundreds of thousands of experts who had come back from the dead were left. They stood there in a daze, not knowing what had happened. They were clearly dead, but they were still alive. It was as if the heavens were playing a joke on them. At the same time, thousands of miles away, Wang Kai opened the space with his bare hands and floated down. Fortunately, I have the system to hide my aura. Otherwise, I would have been in trouble. Wang Kai frowned and sighed helplessly. The auras of the experts from before were unfathomable. Among them, the weakest was at the celestial source realm. Most of them were undetectable. Are they from the sky-reaching school? TSK. Kid, why are you only here now? Lord Cat has been looking for you for the past few days. Crack. Suddenly, as the space was torn apart, Lord Cat's grumbling voice was heard. Big stupid cat, you're pretty awesome. You actually found Ben Xiao's tracks. Wang Kai squinted his eyes and said in surprise. Even the experts who were much stronger than him could only watch him leave. However, Lord Cat had been so accurate and fast. Nonsense, Lord Cat has signed a bloodline contract with you. Naturally, Lord Cat knows where you are. Besides, even without the bloodline contract, it's not difficult for Lord Cat to find you. Lord Cat stroked his long whiskers and jumped down from the void. Just a moment ago, he said that it was a difficult task, and now he was saying that it wasn't a difficult task. I haven't seen you for a long time. Your bragging skills have improved. Wang Kai couldn't help but touch his nose and exclaim with emotion. Hearing this, Lord Cat's paws froze, and he said seriously, Kid, although Lord Cat is free now, but not good. Hurry up and run. Suddenly, before Cat Elder could finish his sentence, he let out a cry of surprise and jumped onto Wang Kai's shoulder. His voice was filled with anxiety as he yelled. Crack! Seeing this, Wang Kai had a tacit understanding. Without any hesitation, he tore open the void and disappeared. Interesting. A white-haired old man in a white robe appeared where Cat Lord had been standing a moment ago. Illusion God Ancestor, why do you have to do this? I'm just worried about Ancestor's safety. That's why I've been following Ancestor. The white-haired old man shook his head and said. As he spoke, he carefully observed his surroundings from the corner of his eye. Within the void, Wang Kai stood with his hands behind his back. Big stupid cat, who is this old man? He's quite polite to you. He even called you Ancestor and followed you as a fighter. Why are you hiding? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and said with a mocking smile. Bullshit. If he really thinks that Lord Cat is his ancestor, that's good. This bunch of bastards all want to get the 3,000 illusion techniques from Lord Cat. Lord Cat stood on Wang Kai's shoulder and was so angry that his mouth was crooked. Hearing this, Wang Kai wasn't surprised. Just now, he was just teasing him. Do you want to beat him up? Beat him up. Whoosh. As soon as he said that, Uncle Cat stopped stroking his whiskers. His eyes were full of disdain as he said, You little brat, can you stop acting like a pretentious prick? He's a 3rd-star realm expert, a Star General realm expert. Although I saw your battle just now, your cultivation level is definitely not as strong as his. Who says that Ben Xiao is not as strong as him? Didn't you see that Bai Jiuyo, a Star Guard, was scared away by Ben Xiao? If Ben Xiao had taken action, Bai Jiuyo would have been dead. Wang Kai shrugged and sneered with disdain. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've gained 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. You said that you scared him away. It's not that Cat Elder wants to criticize you, but if you really have the ability to defeat Bai Jiuyo, why would you let your 2 subordinates protect you? Why would you let them go? Cat Elder stroked his long whiskers and said with disdain, "Hiss, hiss." Hearing this, Wang Kai took a deep breath. He had an inexplicable desire to catch Bai Jiuyo, whom he had let go. What do you know? Ben Xiao was willing to let them go because he valued his style. Otherwise, even all the experts of the sky-reaching church would be beaten to the ground and spit blood in front of Ben Xiao, let alone Bai Jiuyo. Wang Kai shrugged and snorted proudly. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've gained 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Oh, since you're so powerful now, why did you run away just now? You should have stayed there and waited for those bastards of the sky-reaching church to make trouble for you. Cat Elder said with disdain. Whoosh. Hearing this, Wang Kai's face darkened. He stared at Cat Elder fiercely and did not want to argue with him anymore. Old bastards of the sky-reaching church. Remember, Ben Xiao is Wang Kai, the master of the immortal star area. Ben Xiao will accept this stupid cat. Go back to your sky-reaching church and tell them to F Asterisk King wash their necks and wait. Ben Xiao will kill them in a few days. Wang Kai squinted and said to the void, Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've gained 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. F Asterisk CK. You. While Cat Elder was cursing nervously, the white-haired elder outside did not find any trace of Wang Kai. He heard the voice and knew where it came from. However, when he looked over, there was no aura. Immortal Star Area? Haha. Are you the young man who fought with Bai Jiuyo just now? Let go of the illusion god ancestor. Our sect master has met the master of the Immortal Star Area once. If you're willing to join the sky-reaching church, I'll definitely ask our sect master to talk to the master of the Immortal Star Area about you. As the white-haired elder's voice sounded, Wang Kai, who was in the void, frowned. He had not expected that the sect master of the sky-reaching church would know the master of the Immortal Star Area. Moreover, from his tone, it seemed that they were very familiar with each other. What realm is the sect master of the sky-reaching church in? Is he awesome? Wang Kai asked with a frown. Chapter 750. The Peak of the 4th Star Realm. I heard that he found a way to break through to the 5th Star Realm after returning from the outer space. It shouldn't be difficult for him to reach the 5th Star Realm, said Lord Cat while stroking his beard. The 4th Star Realm, the Star Lord State. Also, he was about to reach the 5th Star Realm. Wouldn't he be on the same level as Sun Wukong? Is the sect master of the sky-reaching church that awesome? Wang Kai only knew that the first 4 stars were the Astral Source State, the Astral Guard State, the Astral General State, and the Star Lord State. He didn't know what the 5th Star Realm was yet. However, the unknown was always terrifying. Instead of being so sneaky, it's better to summon Sun Wukong and fight against the sky-reaching church. We'll have a world-shaking battle and let everyone in Tianzhou know that this young master, who once shocked the world and made countless people tremble, has returned. Wang Kai twisted his eyebrows and said with a smile in his eyes, Congratulations to the host for bragging. You have received 1 million EXP and 1,000 bragging points. Are you talking about the monkey that caused trouble in the sky-reaching church? I hope it's not the one I've heard of. Otherwise, it would be troublesome to summon him. Lord Cat stroked his beard and sighed helplessly. Wang Kai raised his eyebrows after hearing that. Why did Lord Cat sound as if even Sun Wukong could be defeated? What do you mean? I've heard those bastards talk about it before. There's a star domain in the outer realm called the Tathagata domain. Under the ruler of the star domain, Tathagata, there's a monkey who's extremely good at fighting. His appearance is similar to the demon monkey you summoned. I hope it's not a monkey. Not a monkey. Cough, cough. Wang Kai was speechless. The corners of his mouth twitched. He waved his hand helplessly and said, Since the sky-reaching church wants to talk about this, they must have learned that I summoned Sun Wukong, right? Of course. You've gained the position of the hierarch of heaven's reaching church and forced all the immortals and sanuses to escape. You've even killed some grand elders. What's more, you've offended many forces. The thousands of beautiful disciples you gave to Zhu Beiji. Sigh. It's fine if you don't say it. Cat Lord shook his head speechlessly. If he hadn't revealed his identity as the illusion god, he would have been mistaken for Wang Kai and killed on the spot. The Transcending Heaven Church was one of the top 3 forces. Its status and reputation were both top-notch. However, it just so happened that such a huge mess had occurred when numerous experts had left the Outer Rim. Originally, it was already humiliating enough for their rankings to drop. However, the experts of the Heaven-Reaching School had already anticipated this. However, no one had expected the things that Wang Kai had done. TSK. This young master helped them clean up the forces of their enemies. Not only did they not thank me, they even got angry. This time, if this young master doesn't beat them all to the point of kneeling and begging for mercy, how can this young master live up to his title as the strongest in the invincible realm? Wang Kai frowned, his tone full of hostility. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 3rd grade Celestial Source Realm. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 3rd grade. You have received 10 Celestial Source Points. Hearing the notification, Wang Kai's lips curled up slightly. Previously, he had used up a large amount of his essence blood, causing his cultivation to drop by 2 minor realms. Although he had recovered his essence blood with the help of the impenetrable body, he still needed to raise his cultivation level. However, even so, Wang Kai still felt a little helpless. Even if bragging could increase his cultivation, he still couldn't compare with those old guys who had cultivated for thousands or even tens of thousands of years. If he wanted to catch up with their cultivation, he would definitely vomit blood from bragging. Wang Kai, who had always bragged according to his mood, wouldn't brag like that. Sometimes, there were dangers that would arouse Wang Kai's interest. May I ask if you are the daughter of the Empyrean Palace Master, Lady Xuan Miao? Suddenly, the white-haired old man outside the void exclaimed. Immediately, Wang Kai and Cat Lord were stunned. Lady Xuan Miao, the daughter of the Empyrean Palace Master? Whoosh! A woman in a rainbow-colored dress with bare, jade-like feet slowly floated down from the sky. Looking at her breathtakingly beautiful face and the unfathomable aura of a superior, not to mention the white-haired old man, even Wang Kai instinctively felt that he was inferior to her. You are the fated one for me? Lady Xuan Miao's body floated until she was a foot away from the ground. Her jade-like hand was holding a jade scepter. Her beautiful eyes blinked slightly, and her long eyelashes were simply mesmerizing, especially when her red lips parted slightly and let out a beautiful voice that was intoxicating. Fated one? What do you mean, Lady Xuan Miao? The white-haired old man stared blankly at her, in confusion. It seems that you are not the fated one for me. Lady Xuan Miao shook her head gently. Her eyes were filled with disappointment as she scanned the surroundings. Then, she tapped her feet lightly and floated up into the sky, disappearing in the blink of an eye. Lady Xuan Miao, why did you come to the Tongtian domain? Hasn't she been cultivating outside the domain all this time? How could she step into the Tongtian domain without making a sound? No, I must report this to the sect leader immediately. The white-haired old man furrowed his brows, his expression extremely solemn. TSK, you're quite good at acting tough. Why aren't you acting tough now? You're actually bowing and scraping to a woman. Do you know that woman just now is Ben Xiao's concubine? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and sneered with disdain. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Concubine? He actually said that Lady Xuan Miao was his concubine? Whoosh! After hearing those words, the white-haired old man's face stiffened and he looked around in horror. Even Lord Cat, who was on Wang Kai's shoulder, was trembling in fear. Kid, are you courting death? Lady Xuan Miao is an expert who has lived longer than Lord Cat. Her father is also the founder of the Empyrean Imperial Palace. He has cultivated for hundreds of thousands of years and is an unparalleled expert who has yet to fall. Lord Cat stroked his long whiskers and shouted in a serious tone. For a moment, he was quite frightened by Wang Kai. He had cultivated for hundreds of thousands of years, and he was still alive? Just how awesome was the Palace Lord of the Nine Heavens Palace? And how powerful was his daughter, Lady Xuanmiao? Her father had lived for hundreds of thousands of years. No matter how weak she was, she should have lived for hundreds of thousands of years, right? Since the Empyrean Imperial Palace is so powerful, why should they be afraid of the Sky-Reaching School? They even joined forces with the Sky Martial Divine Palace to fight against the experts of the Sky-Reaching School. TSK, TSK. Isn't it enough to have a Lady Xuanmiao? Wang Kai curled his lips and felt that it was ridiculous. What do you know? When you reach a certain level, you will naturally know that there are some things that are beyond your control. Moreover, who said that the Sky-Reaching School doesn't have someone as powerful as the Empyrean Imperial Palace Master? Lord Cat stroked his long whiskers and snorted in disdain. The Sky-Reaching School actually had someone who had cultivated for hundreds of thousands of years. Wang Kai's expression froze when he heard those words. It would take him some effort to catch up to an expert who had cultivated for tens of thousands of years. How much effort would he have to brag to catch up to an expert who had cultivated for hundreds of thousands of years? It seems like my fated person is here. Just now, you said that I am his concubine's fated person. Come out. I won't hurt you. Suddenly, before Wang Kai could regain his senses, a soul-stirring and beautiful voice was transmitted into his ears. Chapter 751. Wang Kai. Elder Cat is going to *CK you up. I've really had 8 lifetimes of bad luck. Of all the people I could have messed with, I had to mess with the Xuanmiao Empress. Elder Cat jumped up and cursed angrily. Wang Kai's face suddenly darkened. He didn't expect Grandpa Cat to learn how to curse people. He waved his hand and grabbed Grandpa Cat from his shoulder. He said fiercely, "Big stupid cat, this young master isn't in a hurry." "Why are you in a hurry? So what if you mess with her? If you make Bin Xiao unhappy, not only will you mess with her, but Bin Xiao will also *CK you up." Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 1,000,000 experience points and bragging points. *CK. Elder Cat was so angry that his mouth and eyes turned askew. Especially after Wang Kai's last sentence, he stopped breathing and almost fainted. Hee, you want me to be your concubine, and you want to bully me. Fated one, you are just as a certain someone said, very interesting. Suddenly, the Xuanmiao Empress laughed softly. Hearing this, Elder Cat's body trembled as if he had fallen into an ice cave. Angering the Xuanmiao Empress like this, there was no way out. However, Wang Kai wasn't afraid at all. Instead, he curled his lips and laughed coldly. Little girl, you don't need to grumble over there. Tell me, who is this certain someone you're talking about? There were people in Tianzhou who knew him well. His brothers, as well as his close female friends. But they didn't have the ability to make the Xuanmiao Empress believe that he was her fated one. Who is it? That old man said that heaven's secrets can't be revealed. So, I can't tell you. Come out, my fated one. The Xuanmiao Empress smiled faintly. Heaven's secrets can't be revealed? So mysterious. And there was a fated one. Get out, my ass. Get out so you can kill me? Wang Kai curled his lips and sneered with disdain. Whoosh! When these words were spoken, it instantly caused the mysterious female ruler's beautiful eyes to be stunned. Shortly after, her beautiful face was covered in frost. Originally, she had already made some mental preparations. However, she did not expect that this fated person would be shameless to such an extent. Crack! Suddenly, Xuanmiao Empress waved her hand, and the white-haired old man's body exploded. He died on the spot. Moreover, after killing that white-haired old man, Xuanmiao Empress actually revealed a very comfortable expression. It was as if the anger that Wang Kai had caused her had been released. *CK me. This woman is so ruthless. Seeing this scene, Wang Kai swallowed his saliva. He had to admit that this mysterious empress was truly terrifying. He only scolded her once, and she became so angry that she wanted to kill someone. Cat Master told you not to provoke her. Don't provoke her. You just had to. Sigh. So F asterisk King unlucky. Why did Cat Master meet you? The more Cat Master thought about it, the more sullen he felt. In the end, he could only stretch out his paws and cover his eyes. His posture was as if he had already accepted his fate. Fated one, come out. I will not hurt you. Instead, I will help you fulfill any of your wishes. Shuamiao Empress said with a soft laugh. That expression was so sincere that one couldn't see anything strange about it at all. However, the more she looked like this, the more Wang Kai was on guard. Dangerous people would never admit that they were dangerous. Fulfill any of Ben Xiao's wishes? Do you think you're the goddess of luck? Are you a pretentious prick? In that case, Ben Xiao's first wish is for you to strip naked and let Ben Xiao admire you. Wang Kai shrugged and sneered with a disdainful expression. Whoosh! As soon as these words came out, Cat Master's body twitched, and he fainted on the spot. Wasn't this seeking death even more intensely? Hee hee, I can promise you this. The human body is just a stinky bag of skin. As the fated one, if you want to see it, I don't mind. Shuamiao Empress's face stiffened, and her beautiful eyes were filled with hesitation and coldness. However, in the end, she pursed her red lips and nodded in agreement. She actually allowed him to see it? What the F asterisk CK? Was she really the goddess of luck? Then you can start. Don't worry, Ben Xiao will only take a few glances. He will not be enchanted by your wonderful body. Yes, you must know that Ben Xiao is only testing your sincerity. Wang Kai squinted his eyes, rubbed his hands, and grinned like a pig. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Whoosh! Hearing this, Shuamiao Empress squinted her beautiful eyes. The jade-like hands in her sleeves clenched and loosened. Finally, she nodded gently and smiled. Fine, since I have agreed to any of your wishes, I will naturally keep my word. Rustle, rustle, then, when a few scattered sounds were heard, Wang Kai's pupils suddenly shrank. Shuamiao Empress, who was outside, was completely naked. This caused her exquisite body to be completely exposed to the air. Every part of her body was beautiful to the extreme. Even if it was missing a bit, it would lose its beauty. Perfect. It's simply perfect. Now, Ben Xiao is about to say his second wish. Turn around and pout. Let Ben Xiao take a good look at your shape. Wang Kai squinted his eyes and smiled. You. Such words immediately caused Shuamiao Empress's face to turn red. Even though she had cultivated for nearly 200,000 years, she had never encountered such a situation. Originally, as her fated person, doing this was already her limit. However, he still wanted her to turn around and pose in such a position. Fated one, I will naturally fulfill your wish. However, you can only have 3 wishes. Are you sure you want to waste the second one? Shuamiao Empress said lightly. 3 wishes. Wang Kai was stunned. He frowned and thought for a while. Finally, he said firmly, That's right. I will use the second one like this. Turn around and pout. Okay. Shuamiao Empress pursed her seductive red lips. Her delicate body slowly turned around. Finally, she bent her waist. What a beautiful scenery. Thank you for your hospitality. Goodbye. The last wish is for you to stop following Ben Xiao. Whoosh! After Wang Kai glared at him a few times, he left behind a few words before turning around and shuttling through the void without the slightest reluctance. Even if the scene was really beautiful, so beautiful that it made one forget to leave, one's life was more important now. I have fulfilled all 3 wishes. I hope that the fated one will not disappoint me. Otherwise, Shuamiao Empress blinked her beautiful eyes. As she spoke, her clothes automatically appeared on her body. She looked at the void with an inexplicable expression. At the same time, Wang Kai, who was already in the main city of Tongtian Domain, Tongtian City, found an inn. He smacked his lips and said, Hee hee, although it's a pity, Bin Xiao saw the most beautiful scene. Oh, I am very pleased that the Fated One is so happy. Suddenly, a beautiful voice entered his ears. Wang Kai's smile froze. Damn, didn't I just say that you're not allowed to follow me? Your 3 wishes are all for the Tiger Man? Chapter 752. Huh, the Fated One is wrong. Just now, the Fated One said that you wanted to see my body. Then, you asked me to show you my posture. Finally, you asked me not to follow you. I have already fulfilled these 3 conditions. Since that is the case, why would I lie to you? Xuanmiao Empress smiled faintly. Her alluring figure appeared in the room of the inn. She was looking at Wang Kai, who was sitting in front of the table. You can act pretentious in front of a beauty. But isn't it too much to act pretentious in front of Bin Xiao? I told you not to follow me. Why are you still here? Wang Kai's face darkened. He looked like he was ready to throw caution to the wind. Anyway, he was already at this stage. It was impossible to escape from Xuanmiao Empress, even with the system concealing his aura. As long as she kept staring at you, you would be suppressed the moment you tore through the void. He might as well curse to his heart's content. At worst, he would just die again. I don't understand the words of the Fated One. However, I did not follow you here. I was already here before you came to this city. I just happened to sense the aura of this cat demon. Xuanmiao Empress smiled gently. Her voice was enchanting and extremely pleasant to listen to. Looking at her beautiful face, as well as her high and mighty attitude, as if she had everything under her control, Wang Kai really couldn't find any loopholes. Bitch, do you really think you're the strongest in the world? How can there be such a coincidence? You may believe it, but will Bin Xiao believe it? Wang Kai snorted with a cold face and an unfriendly tone. As soon as he finished speaking, he looked at Cat Lord, who was still unconscious on his shoulder. He suddenly had the thought of throwing him out. As long as he didn't use force, no one would be able to discover his aura. But Cat Lord had met Xuanmiao Empress. It would be difficult for him not to be discovered. Of course he will. You came to Tongtian Domain this time to sneak into Tongtian sect. Since that is the case, you will definitely choose to come to Tongtian City first, because only here will you have a chance. Xuanmiao Empress said faintly. Hiss hiss. Hearing this, Wang Kai immediately took a deep breath of cold air. If that was the case, he had really been completely tricked by her. She even knew that he was going to sneak into the sky-reaching church. Moreover, what he said was reasonable. Indeed, if one wanted to sneak into the sky-reaching church, only in the sky-reaching city would one have the best chance. After all, almost everyone in sky-reaching city had some sort of connection with the sky-reaching church. Even the church's disciples would appear here. Also, the banquet of the sky-reaching church was about to be held. The 3,000 forces coming and going would inevitably pass through the sky-reaching city. Which son of a b*** TCH was it that set this young master up behind my back? Tell me, who told you that Bin Xiao is your fated person? Wang Kai frowned and said with a dark expression, I have already told you the answer. Heaven's secrets cannot be revealed. It was an old man who said that. I came to this city because of the old man's guidance. He knows your background very well. Mysterious female monarch blinked her beautiful eyes and actually winked a few more times playfully. It was as if he was hinting at Wang Kai to know who had said that. An old man said that heaven's secrets could not be revealed. He even knew his background very well. Wang Kai frowned and thought for a long time. Finally, his pupils suddenly shrank. He slammed the table and stood up, shouting, Could it be him? That's not right. He should be in the 8 desolations. Damn it. If we don't talk about this, Bin Xiao would have forgotten that in the 8 desolations, there was a bastard called Tianji Elder who had schemed against Bin Xiao. Tianji Elder. As soon as he said that, mysterious female monarch's beautiful eyes flashed slightly. Her expression was still extremely calm, and there was nothing unusual. However, in Wang Kai's eyes, everything was clear. Mysterious female monarch would not say it directly. However, her silence and pretending not to know was the best hint. It is indeed that old bastard, Tianji Elder. He is really awesome. In the 8 desolations, He helped the old prime minister to scheme against Ben Shao. Now that he has come to Tianzhou, he has followed him. Moreover, he has found such an awesome, mysterious female monarch. Wang Kai frowned and cursed continuously with a dark face. If he had the chance to find Tianji Elder, he really wanted to ask him how much hatred he had for him. Fated One, I have already fulfilled 3 of your wishes. You should also fulfill mine, right? Mysterious female monarch smiled faintly. Her beautiful eyes stared at Wang Kai as if she was looking at a treasure. Seeing this, Wang Kai's mouth suddenly twitched. He immediately stood up and began to take off his clothes without saying anything. You, Fated One, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Whoosh! Mysterious female monarch frowned. She waved her jade-like hand and froze Wang Kai in place. Didn't you want Ben Shao to satisfy you? Before satisfying you, shouldn't Ben Shao have taken off his clothes first? Moreover, Ben Shao has already seen you. If I let you see Ben Shao, then we are even, right? Unable to move, Wang Kai was not surprised. With such a powerful, mysterious female monarch, even if there were 10,000 of him, he would definitely not be her opponent. The satisfaction I'm talking about is not that filthy thing. As my Fated One, what you need to do is to help me. Mysterious female monarch's tone began to turn cold. Wang Kai did not bite at all. In order to make Wang Kai sincerely help her, she even let him see her body. But now it was not what she had imagined. The only thing she could do now was to use the hard way. SK, an old bastard said that this monarch is your Fated One, and then you believed it. Moreover, you didn't hesitate to destroy your own innocence to let this young master see your so-called stinky skin. Now, seeing that the soft approach doesn't work, you're using the hard approach? Do you think you are the emperor? You say whatever you want? Wang Kai frowned and snorted with disdain. The Fated One will not agree to help peacefully. Since that is the case, we can only suppress it by force. Although the result will be much worse, this is the only way. Let's go. Mysterious female monarch said indifferently. Whoosh! Kacha! As soon as she finished speaking, mysterious female monarch waved her jade-like hand and the void tore open. Inside, there was a long black passage. It was completely different from the other warriors, and even the void that Wang Kai tore open. Seeing this, Wang Kai's pupils shrank. When he tore open the void, there was no such neat passage. Moreover, there was clearly a designated place in the passage. Wait, were you taking Ben Shao? Hey, fine. Ben Shao admitted defeat, okay? Ben Shao will help you, and he will sincerely help you. However, before that, you have to help Ben Shao first. Ben Shao also has something that needs to be solved. Seeing that mysterious female monarch did not care about him, Wang Kai was suddenly anxious. He could only grit his teeth and choose to compromise temporarily. Chapter 753. I have granted you 3 wishes, and they have all been fulfilled, Xuanmiao Empress said indifferently. It was obvious that she did not want to help. Wang Kai looked at her with disdain in his heart, but he said calmly, if you want Ben Shao to sincerely help you, then you have to consider whether you want to help or not. Swoosh! Hearing this, Xuanmiao Empress frowned slightly. Her eyes, which seemed to be psychic, stared at Wang Kai. After a long while, she turned around and said indifferently, what do you want me to help you with? Did she agree? If there was a first, there would be a second. If there was a second, there would be a third. That was human nature. Wang Kai sneered. Since Xuanmiao Empress had something to ask of him, he could make her compromise as long as he controlled it well. It's simple. Follow Ben Shao in the dark and be Ben Shao's henchman. When there is danger, Ben Shao will flick his clothes. That is the signal for you to appear, Wang Kai said with a faint smile. Flick his clothes was the signal? Xuanmiao Empress shook her head slightly, and her eyes were filled with amusement. Okay, I can promise you. However, I will only act once, Xuanmiao Empress said indifferently. Only once? How is that enough? That won't do. If you only act once, what if Ben Shao accidentally dies? When the time comes, who will you ask for help from? Don't you think so? Wang Kai smiled with his eyes squinted. He looked as if he had Xuanmiao Empress under control. I will not let you die. At least in Tianzhou, no one can kill you. Xuan Miao Empress was full of confidence and said without hesitation. Hearing this, Wang Kai couldn't help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. It had to be said that this woman's tone was really big. What is your cultivation level? Can you deal with the transcending heaven church? Wang Kai asked expectantly. Celestial King Realm. There is only one person in the Sky Reaching School that I cannot defeat at the moment. However, that person is not in Tianzhou right now, so he is not within our calculations. You can do whatever you want. I will only give you 3 days. Xuan Miao Empress said indifferently. What a big tone. What kind of realm was the Star King realm? Above the Star Lord? Or even higher? Wang Kai furrowed his brows and pondered for a while before saying, if that's the case, then let go of Ben Shao. Now that we've reached a consensus, we're in an alliance. We should be intimate with each other, not like this. Intimacy? Hearing these words, Xuan Miao Empress sneered. Without turning her head, she waved her hand, and Wang Kai regained his freedom. Fated one, I hope you won't go back on your words. Wang. As soon as she finished speaking, Xuan Miao Empress disappeared from the room as if she had never been there. Escape? Or not? Wang Kai furrowed his brows and scanned his surroundings from the corner of his eyes. In the end, he reluctantly dismissed the idea. Xuan Miao Empress must be hiding beside him. If he wanted to escape, he would definitely be caught on the spot. At that time, the consequences would be unimaginable. In the end, it's all this big stupid cat's fault. Damn it. If I knew Xuan Miao Empress was so powerful, I would have thrown you into the Buzhou Sky Palace earlier. Wang Kai's face darkened as he snorted regretfully. With a flip of his hand, he threw Lord Cat into the Buzhou Sky Palace. Without anyone else to detect his aura, he only needed to find a chance to escape. Bang, bang, bang. Sir, may I ask if you're resting? Suddenly, there was a knock on the door and the voice of the inn's waiter came from outside. Not yet. Why? Have you prepared the food and wine? Bring it in. Wang Kai raised his eyebrows and smiled casually. Patter. The door was pushed open by the waiter. Other than the waiter, there were 2 young men in the same clothes behind him. Moreover, Wang Kai was very familiar with their clothes. They were the robes of the Sky Reaching School's disciples. Moreover, they were 2 inner disciples. Their status was not low. Sir, all the superior heaven rooms in the inn are already taken. So, could you please give your room to these 2 more distinguished guests? Of course, the room fee will be deducted for free. You will also be allowed to eat free of charge in the inn. The waiter said cautiously. Snatching the room? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and casually glanced at the 2 silent inner disciples of the Sky Reaching School. He said indifferently, there are plenty of rooms. Since they are all taken, why do you want Ben Shao to give up his room? Do you think Ben Shao is trash? Whoosh. As soon as he said that, the waiter trembled and cold sweat broke out on his forehead. At the same time, the 2 disciples of the Sky Reaching School behind him also looked coldly at Wang Kai. The waiter wiped the cold sweat off his forehead and said cautiously, Sir, because you're the last one to check in, the other guests have already checked in for a few days. So, no matter who it was, the waiter did not want to provoke them. However, if he had to choose one, he could only choose to offend Wang Kai. After all, Sky Reaching City was the territory of the Sky Reaching School. Just because Ben Shao checked in last, he should be the first to be snatched away? F***CKU, you really think this young master is trash? Wang Kai's brows suddenly twisted, and he immediately waved his hand. Buzz. Bang. Suddenly, under the strong pulling force, the shop assistant was directly captured in Wang Kai's hand. Wang Kai held the shop assistant's neck tightly and even kicked the shop assistant's legs, causing him to kneel on the ground. Sir, please spare my life. Sir, please spare my life. The waiter was in pain, but he did not dare to scream. He could only clench his teeth and endure the pain in his legs as he begged for mercy. As a waiter of the inn, he had encountered similar and even more serious situations before. Therefore, the waiter knew very well what he should do now. Do you want to be the enemy of the Sky Reaching School? Whoosh. Finally, The two disciples of the sky-reaching school that Wang Kai had been waiting for finally spoke. Hearing this, Wang Kai shrugged casually and let go of the waiter. He smiled faintly and said, Bin Xiao has never thought of being the enemy of the sky-reaching school. However, as disciples of the sky-reaching school, don't you know who Bin Xiao is? Or did you follow those old bastards back from the extraterritorial area? Oh no, you are. Whoosh. Suddenly, before the two disciples could say Wang Kai's name, they were slapped to the ground by Wang Kai. You can sleep for a few days. Then, Wang Kai stomped on the waiter and knocked him out on the spot. Wang. Ahem. Wang Kai. How dare you come to the sky-reaching realm? The two inner disciples of the sky-reaching school clutched their chests and got up from the ground. Chapter 754. Tut, tut, why doesn't Bin Xiao dare to come to the Tongtian realm? Do you really think that just because some old bastards of the sky-reaching church have returned, they can capture me? Zhang Yang thought, I'm not afraid to tell you that if this young master wants to exterminate them, all I need to do is dig out my nose, and I can kill them all. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled proudly. Congratulations to the host for bragging successfully. You've gained 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. A booger? The two inner disciples of the transcending heaven immortal cult twitched the corners of their mouths as they heard this. They felt a chill in their hearts. Wang Kai, we've heard about your bragging ability. When the goddess was looking for you all over the Tongtian sect, we were one of them. It's a pity that we couldn't find you. However, it's not too late now. It's not bad to see you bragging with our own eyes. The inner disciple of the Tongtian sect sneered. After hearing this, Wang Kai squinted his eyes slightly. Strange, where did these two inner disciples get their guts from? Even in such a situation, they still dare to talk to him? Do you think you can survive? Wang Kai asked in surprise. No, that's right. We never thought that we would survive after meeting you. What? Hearing their answers, Wang Kai was a little puzzled. Could it be that they knew they were going to die, so they had the courage to do it? But it didn't seem like it. Wang Kai, the reason we came to Heavenspan City is to look for you. Furthermore, the elders of the Heavenspan Church, in order to prevent us from meeting you and dying in an accident, left us jade medallions that can be used to communicate at any time. Aha! That is to say, the elders of Heaven's reaching church have heard what you've told us just now. Swish! Wang Kai's eyebrows twisted as soon as the voices of the two disciples of the transcending heaven immortal cult fell. Then he turned his hand and shot his palm. Bang! Bang! The two disciples were killed on the spot. Wang Kai, don't run away. Buzz! Two black jade tokens flew out from the bosom of the two disciples. A voice that was filled with killing intent was emitted from within the jade tokens. Hee, it seems that you've seen that Bin Xiao is the one who fought with Bai Jiuyo before. But Bin Xiao, I'm curious. Why didn't you take action at that time? Wang Kai shrugged and said with a sarcastic smile, Did they know that I would come to Tongtian City and sneak into the Tongtian sect? Xuan Miao Empress knew that I would come to Tongtian City and sneak into the Tongtian sect with the guidance of the Tianji Elder. How did the Tongtian sect know that? Bai Jiuyo has a special identity, so the Tongtian sect doesn't want to be his enemy. They want you to fight with him, and then some people from White Star will come and kill you. What a pity. Anyway, it's not difficult for the sky-reaching church to kill you. Hearing the voice of the Tongtian sect's words, Wang suddenly understood. It turned out that the Tongtian sect wanted to kill him with the help of Bai Jiuyo. Hee, wait and see. Bin Xiao will bring you a feast. Crack! After saying that, Wang Kai tore open the void with his bare hands. His body disappeared into it, and his aura disappeared completely. Whoosh! Whoosh! At the same time, several figures appeared in the room. They turned their hands and slapped the void, causing it to explode. However, there was still no trace of Wang Kai. Damn it! Bastard! Check! Check quickly! At the same time, Wang Kai, who had come to a corner of Tongtian City, squinted his eyes and sneered helplessly. Even if they want to kill me with the help of the force behind Bai Jiuyo, They would never have guessed that Ben Shao would come to Tongtian City. They wouldn't have known that I would walk into the Tongtian sex trap. It should be the Tianji Elder's doing. Whoosh! The Xuanmiao Empress appeared and floated in the air. She spoke in an indifferent tone. In her opinion, the Tianji Elder was the only one in the world who could find Wang Kai. After all, even she, a Star King realm expert, could not find Wang Kai, who had completely stopped breathing. If not for the guidance of the Elder of Heavenly Secrets, he would never have been able to discover where Wang Kai had gone. It was also because of this that mysterious Empress's eyes never left Wang Kai's side as she followed him. She was afraid that Wang Kai would escape again. Ben Shao has the system to hide his aura. Tianji Elder should be able to hide his aura, too. Moreover, the Tianji Elder should be able to figure out my location and my purpose through someone related to Ben Shao. Just like Ji Ruxue, Wang Kai furrowed his brows and thought to himself, "You followed the big stupid cat to find Ben Shao, right?" Wang Kai's pupils shrank as he suddenly understood. Hearing this, Xuanmiao Empress didn't hide anything and bluntly nodded. "Correct. Tianji Elder's divination can follow the illusion god to find you. As long as you have a conversation with him, then Tianji Elder can calculate your next location using me." Whoosh! When these words were spoken, Wang Kai's eyebrows immediately twisted, and his face abruptly darkened. He immediately regretted it. If he had not talked to the Xuanmiao Empress, it would have proved that they were strangers who had nothing to do with each other. But once they talked to each other, there would be karma. With karma, the Tianji Elder could use her to figure out his location. "Damn it, old bastard, you better not let Ben Shao find you." Wang Kai snorted fiercely. Helping the Xuanmiao Empress figure out his location was one thing, but now, helping the Tongtian sect. There were many people who had karma with him in the Tongtian sect. You don't have to do it yourself to take the Tianji Elder's life, the Xuanmiao Empress said indifferently. Her eyes contained a trace of amazement. "What do you mean?" Wang Kai frowned and asked, puzzled. "The Tianji Elder once said that calculating you once would consume 100 times more lifespan than any other expert. With his realm and lifespan, he can calculate you once or twice at most." The Xuanmiao Empress smiled faintly. She looked as if she also wanted the Tianji Elder to die. However, Wang Kai agreed with her idea of cursing the Tianji Elder to death. It was too dangerous and too hateful. In the 8 Desolations, someone said the same thing, but he still came to Tianzhou and continued to calculate Ben Shao. What's more ridiculous is that he's still alive. Who is he? The corner of Wang Kai's mouth twitched slightly, and he said angrily. He completely ignored what the Elder of Heavenly Secrets had said about how he would consume 100 times his lifespan just by divining once. He's the most mysterious expert in Tianzhou, no, in the entire Starfield. No one has seen him fight, and he doesn't have a strong background. However, all the experts are respectful to him. If he wants to kill someone, he doesn't have to do it himself. Countless experts will take the initiative to kill him. The Xuanmiao Empress said faintly. Her tone was full of admiration. Chapter 755. He's that awesome? He didn't do anything, but people helped him kill people. He didn't have any background, and he didn't show any martial arts realm, but there were countless people begging him. Wang Kai frowned when he heard this. He even wanted to predict the future, but it was just a thought. So what if he could predict the future? If he wasn't strong, it wouldn't be of much use. Even if he helped experts like the Xuanmiao Empress to predict the future and find his location, in the end, it would be good as long as he became stronger than anyone else. Moreover, Wang Kai needed to use his lifespan to predict the future. At his current realm, Wang Kai didn't even know how much he needed to predict the future. Even if it didn't affect him that much, Wang Kai wasn't willing to use his lifespan to help others predict the future. Of course, he's powerful. He's so powerful that he has friends in the star field, but he's also so powerful that he has enemies everywhere. The Xuanmiao Empress smiled faintly. Wang Kai naturally understood the double meaning of her words. When one predicted the future, there would be people who would help and people who would be offended. For example, the Xuan Miao Empress in front of him looked as if she wanted the Tianji elder to die. Similarly, Wang Kai also wanted the Tianji elder to die. Because of the Tianji elder, he was now in a situation where he was being watched by the Xuan Miao Empress. It's only temporary. I don't want to kill him now. I'll let him live for a few more days. After I've dealt with the affairs of the Transcending Heaven Church, I'll only need to flick my finger to kill the old man of Tianji. Wang Kai shrugged his shoulders. His expression was quite disdainful as he snorted. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the Star Origin Realm. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the Star Origin Realm. You've received 10 Star Origin points. Hearing this, the Xuan Miao Empress's beautiful eyes blinked slightly. She couldn't help but shake her head and laugh. She secretly felt that Wang Kai was quite interesting. They clearly could not find Elder Tianji, nor could they kill him, but they still spoke as if it was the truth. I will only give you 3 days. Have you thought about how to cherish these 3 days that were hard to come by? Mysterious Empress said lightly. It was not easy to come by. Wang Kai's mouth twitched when he heard this. T. Didn't he only give him 3 days because he sincerely wanted to help him? Ben Xiao, I've always wanted to ask you a question. Why do you need to leave the ground to walk? Does it feel good to step on air? Or do you have mysophobia, unwilling to walk on the ground? Or are you just pretending all the time? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and snorted in annoyance. Whoosh! The moment those words were spoken, Lady Mysterious Miao's beautiful eyes went blank. Her beautiful face was filled with anger and resentment. She never would have thought that Wang Kai would say such a thing. My Tao is the Tao of void travel. Since I started my cultivation, I have never walked on the ground with my feet. It's not that I'm obsessed with cleanliness, nor am I pretending. In short, it feels really good, Xuan Miao Empress said indifferently. Looking at her, if Wang Kai continued to harp on this question, she would definitely fly into a rage on the spot. Oh, then why don't you wear shoes? Does it feel good to bare your neck and jade feet? A cool breeze blows past, and your soles turn cold. You don't need to do that thing between a man and a woman to reach climax. Wang Kai twisted his eyebrows and smiled in amazement. Bang! Plop! Suddenly, Xuan Miao Empress angrily slapped out with her jade-like hand, smashing Wang Kai to the ground. I will give you 3 days. I hope you can cherish it. After 3 days, whether you are sincere or not, I will take you away from here. Buzz! As soon as she finished speaking, Lady Mysterious Miao's figure disappeared into thin air. Only Wang Kai, who was wiping his face, was left. His eyes were filled with anger as he snorted coldly. Then listen to Ben Xiao. No matter where you want to take Ben Xiao, before that, you have to be prepared to be a servant. Otherwise, even if you die, Ben Xiao will not help you. Don't ask why, because Ben Xiao has always been aloof and arrogant. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. However, no matter what Wang Kai said, there was no response from Lady Mysterious Miao. It could be seen that Lady Xuan Miao now bore a grudge against Wang Kai. She was not even willing to talk to him. That's good. I don't have to follow you around. It's fine if you can't touch me, but you can't even talk to me. Sooner or later, I'll *CK you. I'll let you experience Ben Xiao's unparalleled heroic figure. When he does things, he's so powerful. Wang Kai curled his lips, stood up, and snorted arrogantly. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Bang! Plop! However, before Wang Kai could stand firm, he felt a heavy blow to the back of his head. He was slammed to the ground again. *CK. Lady Mysterious Miao, let me tell you, you can scold me, humiliate me, and hit me, but you can't touch my head. Do you know that this young master's mind is filled with the memories of countless eras of this world? If you lose your memory, bang, plop. Before Wang Kai could finish his words, the pain from the back of his head came again. As a result, Wang Kai, who was about to get up, was slammed to the ground again. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Cough, 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 cough. Fine, fine, you win. You win. Wang Kai flipped over and stood up. He looked around and wiped his face. Then he patted his robe. He wanted to say something, but he did not dare to. The difference between the two of them was too great. When the attack came, he could not even detect it. Even if he tried to block it in advance, he would not be able to. What's the fuss about? Haven't you seen a man and a woman doing things? Are you jealous? Suddenly, he heard a cold snort full of disdain, which immediately caused Wang Kai to frown. He quickly turned around to look, and his expression suddenly froze. In a corner of the alley, there was a man and a woman. They were naked and doing the most primitive human thing. Moreover, from the looks of it, they had been completely sealed by Lady Xuanmiao. Now that Xuanmiao Empress had broken the seal, she naturally noticed Wang Kai. Dear thing, if you talk nonsense with Ben Xiao again, I will castrate you. Look at that woman. She has nothing. Do you think Ben Xiao is happy to see that? Wang Kai curled his lips in disdain. He immediately put his hands behind his back and walked out of the alley. Listen to him. He insulted me. Why don't you help me? The woman covered her face, sobbing as she complained again and again. Slap. However, the man waved his hand and slapped the woman. She fell to the ground. Shut up. Even doing something can be despised by others. You still want me to help you vent your anger. He is obviously a martial artist. I am an ordinary person. I will really be castrated. The man snorted angrily. Chapter 756. Big Dumb Cat quickly transformed Ben Xiao into an ordinary man. If he were to walk on the streets with his handsome face, he would attract too much attention. Wang Kai said with a shrug, Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Inside the Buzhou Sky Palace, Lord Cat was so ashamed that he could not show his face. He covered his face with one paw and drew out the long knife on his back with the other paw. Wang Kai's narcissism was too much for him to bear. Buzz. In the blink of an eye, Wang Kai's appearance underwent an earth-shattering change. He was supposed to be handsome, but now he looked ordinary. He was the kind of person who would not be remembered in a crowd. Master, let me go out too. It's so stuffy here. That's right. Master, let me go out for a ride too. I want to go out too. Mu Sanyang could not help but make a request when she heard Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing's voices. It was too boring and stuffy to stay in the Buzhou Sky Palace. Oh, Big Dumb Cat, change their appearances too. Just make them look ordinary. Wang Kai said with a shrug. Buzz. Lord Cat did not object. He could not wait for them to go out so that he could have some peace and quiet in the Buzhou Sky Palace. Sigh. I used to be a handsome young man. Who would have thought that I would become like this? What a sin. When the three of them were released from the Buzhou Sky Palace by Wang Kai, Zhu Beiji conjured a mirror. He looked at them and immediately grimaced. They were so ugly that they looked even more ordinary than ordinary people. On the side, although Sha Wujing did not say anything to complain, it was not difficult to see from his expression that he was also very dissatisfied in his heart. From the way Sha Wujing appeared and his elegant appearance, one could tell that he was a person who cared a lot about his image. Mu Sanyang did not show any emotion. In fact, she was a little happy. Being able to walk around with a different face had indeed saved him a lot of trouble. Otherwise, with her charming appearance and figure from before, it would definitely cause a commotion. Huan, we have some things to take care of. You could go shopping by yourself. Well, if you need anything, just shout, Brother Kai will do. Ben Xiao will definitely arrive immediately and clear all obstacles for you. Wang Kai shrugged and said with a casual smile, Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 5th stage of the astral origin realm. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through. You have received 10 star source points. Hee hee, you want to pick up girls, right? You even said that you would remove all obstacles for me. Right now, I don't have any face or body. I'm just an ordinary, ugly woman. What obstacles can I have? Mu Sanyang sneered disdainfully. She then turned around and walked away. As for what Wang Kai wanted to do, she knew 99% of it. After all, after getting along with each other for a long time, it was true that Wang Kai loved to brag, but he also loved beautiful women. He was a pervert through and through. Moreover, he wanted to bring Zhu Beiji with him. Zhu Beiji had been with thousands of women at the same time. Now that he wanted to get rid of her and go out with her, it was obvious what he wanted to do. Is Ben Xiao that bad? Also, does Ben Xiao need to pick up girls personally? Beautiful women will always throw themselves at Ben Xiao when they see him. Wang Kai curled his lips and snorted disdainfully. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Wang Kai's face darkened when he heard the notification. Fortunately, the others could not hear it. Otherwise, he would have lost face. Kid, I've been with you for so long, and I've never seen a woman throw herself at you. Don't brag so much. Elder Cat feels uncomfortable all over. Elder Cat was speechless and ridiculed. In response, Wang Kai shrugged his shoulders and smiled with an indifferent expression. What's so good about a beauty who throws herself at me? She's just a vase. Ben Xiao is pursuing true love. Do you understand true love? Just like Jingxian. She loves me so much that she can't stop. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. No, that's not true love. It's a special circumstance that forced the two of you to be together. Elder Cat said disdainfully. Special circumstances are also Ben Xiao's loss. Back then, it was because she loved this young master so much that she took the initiative to throw herself at me. Wang Kai coldly snorted with a dark face. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Hee hee, I'll tell Jingxian about this in the future. Elder Cat stroked his long whiskers, his eyes full of mockery. Master, where are we going to have some fun? Zhu Beiji rubbed his nose, his eyes full of anticipation. Sha Wujing, who was by the side, was also looking at Wang Kai eagerly. Mu Sanyang had said that Wang Kai was going to bring him to pick up girls. Wasn't this the perfect opportunity? It's not dark yet. Let's find a tavern and have a drink. We'll move when it's dark. Wang Kai squinted his eyes and smiled playfully. Move when it's dark? As soon as he said that, Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing suddenly trembled. They looked at each other and saw the urgency in each other's eyes. When it was dark, what else could it be other than that kind of thing? Could it be that they were going to kill and rob? It was obviously impossible for Wang Kai. Wait, I want to go with you. Suddenly, just as Wang Kai and the other two were about to turn and leave, Mu Sanyang followed them from behind. After thinking about it, she was still worried about Wang Kai. Mu Sanyang herself was not sure about this feeling. In short, she was unwilling to let Wang Kai go to a brothel. Wang Kai's mouth twitched. He had planned to go somewhere to have some fun tonight. With such a person following him, he was afraid that he would not be able to do so. Looks like I have to think of a way to get her away. In a tavern, Wang Kai and the other three chose a table by the window. As they were ordinary looking, the surrounding diners naturally did not pay attention to them. Sir, what would you like to eat? As a waiter arrived in front of the table, Wang Kai and the other three looked at each other. In the end, their gazes all landed on Wang Kai's body. Bring out the best dishes and the best wine. If the table isn't big enough, then give me a bigger one. Wang Kai shrugged his shoulders and laughed heartily. Sir, this tavern does not accept credit. Hearing this, the waiter was in a dilemma for a while, sizing up Wang Kai's group. Whether it was their appearance or their clothes, they didn't look like rich people. Ha. I don't know where you came from. Is this your first time in tavern? Every dish here is worth tens of millions of celestial stones. Suddenly, a man and two women sitting next to each other, laughed out loud. Chapter 757. Bang! Zhu Beiji slammed the table and stood up. He pointed at the man and the two women angrily and scolded. What the F asterisk CK? Do you guys know? People with status, good looks, and power usually choose to live in seclusion. Even if they want to live in seclusion, they have to hide all their glory. That's right. Eldest senior brother is right. This bastard doesn't know anything, and he still wants to act tough. He deserves a beating. Xiao Wujing also mocked in an unfriendly tone. Swoosh! Such a rebuke immediately caused the faces of the man and the two women to stiffen. After they recovered, they immediately stood up. Shut up. A bunch of trash from the countryside. You guys are so ugly, and you have the nerve to say that your general is hiding. Shameless. Get out. You are not welcome here. Bastards. If I don't beat you guys up today, I am not worthy of being Marshal Tian Peng. Buzz. Suddenly, Zhu Beiji waved his hand and took out his nine-toothed rake. He waved it and was about to attack the man and the two women. Do you think we are afraid of you? You're just an ordinary man from the countryside. Do you think you can do whatever you want after learning martial arts for a few days? Buzz. The man and the two women also took out their weapons. When they released their auras, Zhu Beiji and Xiao Wujing were stunned. You guys are just a heavenly yuan stage? F asterisk CK, your grandpa. How dare you come out and act tough with that face of yours? Zhu Beiji grinned and laughed in disdain. Xiao Wujing also couldn't help but smile. Even Mu Sanyang shook her head and laughed. She didn't expect these people's cultivation to be so low. Wait, why are you guys arguing? They're just trash at the Heaven Origin realm. Making a move on them is already giving them face. Isn't it just celestial stones? Speaking of which, this young master really doesn't have any. Wang Kai squinted his eyes and smiled with a playful expression. Don't have? Swoosh. As soon as he said that, Zhu Beiji, Xiao Wujing, and Mu Sanyang's faces turned as dark as ink. They had the urge to beat Wang Kai to death. After acting tough for so long, he actually did as he was told. He couldn't even afford the meal, so how could he order the best dishes and wine? Ha ha ha! In an instant, under the lead of the man and the two women, the surrounding diners also began to jeer and laugh. They all despised Wang Kai and the others. Even the waiter shook his head and smiled in disdain. He pointed at the door of the tavern and said, Please, guests from a countryside? Oomph, what are you all laughing at? We just forgot to bring them. Zhu Beiji snorted with a red face. At this point, he was not angry at all. Even if he could defeat any of the experts present, he would be too ashamed to do so. Moreover, fighting wouldn't solve the problem. The face that should be lost would be completely lost. Bin Xiao indeed doesn't have any celestial stones, but Bin Xiao has this. Wang Kai shrugged his shoulders and slammed his hand on the table. Everyone's laughter stopped abruptly when they saw this scene, and all of them stared at Wang Kai's palm with surprise. They really wanted to know what he could take out. A doctrine crystal. Congratulations to the host for successfully obtaining a doctrine crystal. 1,000 bragging points have been consumed. Buzz. As Wang Kai removed his palm, there was a colorful crystal that was the size of a baby's fist on the table. It was shining brightly. This, God, it's actually a doctrine crystal. F asterisk CK. A doctrine crystal is worth 100 million celestial stones. Who are they? How can they be so generous? A doctrine crystal is something that only the top 100 forces are qualified to possess. In an instant, the surrounding crowd stood up and shouted in shock. When they looked at Wang Kai and the others again, they were trembling in fear and their faces were pale. Waiter, the bill. I'll pay to. In an instant, the originally lively tavern was filled with people who hurriedly paid their bills and left. They didn't even dare to look back, as they were afraid that Wang Kai would interrogate them. At the same time, those experts were secretly regretting their actions. If they hadn't ridiculed them earlier, they might have been able to befriend them. Even if they couldn't befriend them, they wouldn't have offended them. All of you, stop right there. Did I, old pig, say that you can leave? Get your asses back here. Zhu Beiji waved his nine-toothed rake and bellowed. Immediately, he released waves of suppressive might. Buzz. F asterisk CK. What? What realm is this expert at? This? Heavenly Tao realm? That's not right. My grandfather is also at the Heavenly Tao realm, but the feeling he gives me is even stronger than my grandfather. What realm is he at? Who are they? Those cultivators who wanted to leave the tavern were all subdued by Zhu Beiji without any resistance. All of them were trembling as they knelt on the ground. Their eyes were filled with despair. He was even stronger than a Heavenly Tao realm expert. The moment he attacked, it was a doctrine crystal. Put on, put on, put on. The man and the two women were also scared out of their wits. They were like mice that had seen a cat as they knelt on the ground. Senior, please spare my life. I was blind. I just invited these two women from Moon Lake with a huge sum of money. I haven't touched them yet, so I'm giving them to you. The man swallowed his saliva and said with a trembling voice. After saying that, the man didn't feel ashamed at all. He couldn't compare in terms of wealth. The difference in cultivation was like heaven and earth. No one would feel embarrassed when meeting such an expert. Sir, please spare my life. I'm a performer from the Moon Lake. If you can let us sisters go, the Moon Lake Lord will thank you. Yes, in return, I'm willing to serve you for a night. Upon hearing the words of the two women, the corner of Wang Kai's mouth twitched. First, they used the Moon Lake Lord to threaten him. Then, they used the honey trap to tempt him, using both the carrot and the stick. This Moon Lake was rather interesting. Even two insignificant performers were so quick-witted. However, before Wang Kai could say anything, Mu Sanyang couldn't sit still anymore. She waved her hand and slapped out. Scram! She shouted angrily. Bang! Bang! Wah! In an instant, the two women were sent flying out of the tavern with blood spurting out of their mouths. In fact, even that man was shaken to the point of tumbling several times and vomiting blood repeatedly. Such a situation immediately caused the man to be extremely shocked. He also did not expect that this ugly-looking woman would actually have such a powerful cultivation. Hey, Master's wife, what are you doing? Master doesn't want them, but I want them. Ahem. Old Sha wants him to swoosh. As his voice faded, Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing hurriedly leaped out of the tavern. They directly carried the two heavily injured women on the ground and left with one in each of their arms. If all teachers are like you, I'm afraid they're finished. Mu Sanyang scolded angrily. Wang Kai rubbed his nose when he heard that. He felt a little awkward for a moment, but for the sake of his reputation, he said bluntly, they have their own personal freedom. What does it have to do with Ben Shao? Besides, they called you Master's wife. Do you think you're Ben Shao's wife? There are many who want to be Ben Shao's wife. If you want to be, you'll have to consummate your marriage first. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Chapter 758. Mu Sanyang glared at him and tried her best to suppress her anger. She said in a low voice, Restore my original appearance. Restore her original appearance? Wang Kai squinted his eyes and looked at her with admiration. He gave her a thumbs up and praised. Not bad, not bad. You finally found your conscience. You want to restore your original appearance so that you can consummate your marriage with Ben Shao? All right, Ben Shao will fulfill your wish. Big dumb cat, restore her. Buzz. In the Buzhou Sky Palace, Lord Cat stroked his long whiskers in disdain. He did not say anything and waved his paw to remove Mu Sanyang's illusion. Ah, heavens! There is such a beauty. She's so beautiful, so beautiful. In an instant, when the charming Mu Sanyang was restored, the surrounding cultivators were all shocked and stared at her with lustful eyes. There were even some who were drooling from their mouths. Mu Sanyang's charm was too strong. Not to mention men. Even women would be infatuated with her. Did you see that? There are countless people in Tianzhou who want me to be their master's wife. Who do you think you are? Oof. Mu Sanyang pointed her finger at Wang Kai and scolded him. Then, She swayed her body and left the tavern. Moreover, the swaying posture caused all the cultivators to be stupefied as they looked at it. If they could spend a night with Mu Sanyang, even if they died the next day, they would still agree, right? Good. Good job, Mu Sanyang. Wang Kai's face darkened and the veins on his forehead bulged. He did not expect Mu Sanyang to restore her original appearance to do this. It was blatant contempt. What are you looking at? If you don't want to die, get out of here. Now. Wang Kai snorted in an unfriendly tone. Swoosh. Hearing this, everyone immediately came back to their senses and immediately fled without any explanation. Senior, in my eyes, you're the most handsome man. There are many women who want to be with you in Tianzhou. You don't have to do this for that beauty. Ugh. The man who was knocked down by Mu Sanyang saw that Wang Kai had let the others go and felt even more uneasy. He quickly went up to Wang Kai to flatter him. However, at the end of his words, Wang Kai's complexion turned even more ashen and ugly. That beauty? F***CKU. Bang. Blah. Crack. In an instant, under Wang Kai's slap, the man's body was sent flying out of the tavern, smashing through the windows of the tavern and rolling down the street. Serves you right. Who told you to act so pretentious? Pretentious? Do you know that there is no limit? Isn't it just because he's filthy rich that he found 2 entertainers from Moon Lake? Do you have to be so pretentious? What's to be so? Shit, I almost lost my life because of you. Bang, bang, bang. When the cultivators who had just left saw the man fall on the street, they all rushed up with angry faces and beat him up. The man's face was unrecognizable and his whole body was twisted. I won't act pretentious anymore. Bang. The man's breath was extremely weak as he stuttered. In the end, his head tilted to one side and he died on the spot. If he had the chance to do it all over again, he would never act pretentious again. What are you looking at? Why aren't you bringing up the best dishes and wine? In the tavern, only Wang Kai and the waiter were left. After what had just happened, the waiter was so scared that he fell to the ground. When he heard Wang Kai shout, he quickly swallowed his saliva and bowed down to prepare the food. Haha, why are you so angry? If you are in a bad mood and want to vent, how about I invite you to the Moon Lake to play? Suddenly, with a chuckle, Wang Kai saw a young man who looked only about 20 years old inexplicably appear in front of the table. He was wearing a purple robe and holding a golden fan. His handsome face was filled with a gentle smile as he looked at Wang Kai. Purple robe, golden fan. Seeing this, Wang Kai frowned. His eyes narrowed into slits as he sized him up. He smiled faintly. You have a high level of cultivation. You appeared in front of Ben Shao without making a sound. Haha, so. Third in the Tianzhou. The young man nodded and smiled. Third in the Tianzhou. Such words made Wang Kai's heart skip a beat. The Xuanmiao Empress he knew was in the Tianzhou. She was in the Star King realm. Plus, the Xuanmiao Empress once said that in the current Tianzhou, her fighting ability was number 1. However, this person claimed to be number 3. He did not know when he had appeared. There was also the group of experts from the Sky Reaching School who had just returned. The strongest one was at the 4-star realm. Other forces, such as the Empyrean Palace, the Sky Martial Divine Palace, and the Netherworld Underworld, could not guarantee that there would be experts at the same level. If so, this person still dared to claim to be number 3. At the very least, he would not be weaker than a 4-star realm expert, right? Wang Kai thought to himself, but he was not afraid. Not to mention that he had the Xuanmiao Empress by his side to protect him. Even if he did not have her, he would not be afraid. At worst, he would die and be revived. Kid, you are quite good at showing off, aren't you? Ben Shao was just being polite. As for your whereabouts, Ben Shao had already expected it. If he wanted to kill you, it would only take him a breath. He did not stop you because he wanted to see what you wanted to do. Wang Kai shrugged and sneered with disdain. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 6th grade of the Celestial Origin Realm. Oh, that is natural. I have long heard of Brother Wang's cultivation. No matter if it is the Fan Province, the immortal martial domain, or even the 8 Desolaces, you are a famous figure. I am truly impressed. The young man squinted his eyes and smiled. His tone was filled with sarcasm. Although it sounded like a compliment, his tone was clearly filled with disdain and disdain. However, Wong Kai wasn't thinking about this right now. Not only did this person know about him in the Fan Province, he also knew about the immortal martial domain and the 8 Desolaces. In the lower realms, he had never heard of, seen, or even sensed the existence of an expert of that caliber. In the Sky Province, there should be no way to go down. Even if there is only a slim chance of survival. Since that is the case, where did you find out about Ben Shao? Did that old bastard Tianji Laozi tell you? Wang Kai said with a cold expression. Old bastard Tianji Laozi. Such words caused the young man's eyelids to twitch violently. Although he already knew that Wang Kai's personality was like this, hearing it with his own ears and seeing it with his own eyes, he couldn't help but be speechless. No, I came here because a friend asked me to. Oh, rather than a friend, it would be better to say that it was his fiancée who asked me to come. Therefore, I know everything about Brother Wang like the back of my hand. I'm also very grateful to Brother Wang for taking care of my fiancée all this time. The young man fanned himself with a cold smile. Fiancé. She knew everything about him. Wang Kai's pupils shrank when he heard this. There were only a few people in the Sky Province who knew about him in such detail. Moreover, they were all his close female friends. Brat, you are quite daring. Wang Kai's eyes darkened. His tone was filled with killing intent. Chapter 759. Haha, Brother Wang, please don't be angry. I am Zi Kuan from the Archosaur Star in the Purple Gold region. I am here to pass a message on behalf of Misty. Zi Kuan smiled faintly. He was not bothered by Wang Kai's murderous words. Misty? Could it be Li Lingxian? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows. He did not expect Zi Kuan's fiancée to be Li Lingxian. Logically speaking, Li Lingxian should be cultivating in one of the forces in the Tianzhou. Since that was the case, how did Zi Kuan, who is from the Purple Gold region, know her? What message did she ask you pass on? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and sneered. He wanted to see what Zi Kuan was up to. Yes, she asked me to tell you that the Tianzhou is not suitable for you. Go back to the Fan Province. Ha 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 ha. Zi Kuan suddenly laughed out loud. Bang. Plop. However, just as his voice sounded out, Wang Kai suddenly made his move and directly slapped the laughing Zi Kuan, who was caught off guard and fell to the ground. Who the hell are you talking to? Li Lingxian loves Ben Shao so much that she can't stop thinking about him. She misses Ben Shao almost every night. How could she be your fiancé? Also, if she really asked you to pass on a message, Ben Shao will not let you live. Wang Kai shrugged his shoulders and smiled faintly. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Li Lingxian naturally knew his temper. Since that was the case, she asked Zi Kuan to pass on such a disdainful message. Her motive was self-evident. However, that little girl believed in him. She really thought that he was so awesome that he could kill Zi Kuan, who was not weaker than a 4-star realm elite. However, Wang Kai also understood that Li Lingxian's words were ambiguous. If he could not kill Zi Kuan, he would naturally choose to return to the Fan Province to avoid being killed by Zi Kuan. After all, Zi Kuan didn't want Li Lingxian to keep thinking about him. If he could kill them, he would naturally kill Zi Kuan. At that time, he would also go and rescue Li Lingxian. She didn't come personally to deliver the message, which means that she has no choice but to say those words. It's a reminder, and it's also a hint to kill Zi Kuan. This little girl's skin is really fierce. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes as he thought to himself, Bastard, how dare you? Bang. Plop. Zi Kuan stood up and was about to loudly berate, but before he could finish speaking, he was once again smashed onto the ground by an indescribable power. Who? Who is it? Aren't you afraid that the violet gold starfield? Ah. Bang. Crack. Tragedy played out once again. This time, Zi Kuan was in an even more miserable state. His back was directly blasted apart, causing his flesh and blood to roll out. Seeing this scene, the corner of Wang Kai's mouth could not help but twitch fiercely. Zikuan did not know who did it, but he was very clear in his heart. But it was strange. Why would the Xuanmiao Empress take the initiative to attack? Hee. Other than Ben Xiao and you, who else could it be? Brat, don't think that just because you have a little bit of cultivation, you can act pretentious in front of Ben Xiao. When Ben Xiao once destroyed countless star regions with a flick of his finger, you weren't even born yet. Wang Kai shrugged and sneered with a disdainful expression. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Wah! Hearing this, Zikuan was so angry that he immediately spat out a mouthful of blood. Naturally, he did not believe Wang Kai's nonsense. That power just now was not displayed by Wang Kai at all. As a 4-star realm expert, if he could not even realize this, then wouldn't he be a piece of trash? No matter who you are, since you're so disrespectful to me, the purple gold star region will definitely not forgive you, cough cough. Zikuan stood up and tightly clutched his chest. The corner of his mouth was full of blood as he coldly snorted. Slap! However, just as these words left his mouth, Wang Kai flipped his hand and slapped him across the face, causing his body to shake violently as the flesh on his face was smashed to pieces. Bastard! Bastard! If I don't kill all of you, I, Zikuan, am called the #1 in Archosaur Star in vain. Plop! As a wave of heavy pressure swept over, Zikuan's figure was directly sent flying out of the tavern. TSK, who the hell is this? Another person who wants to act pretentiously? Damn, she's a good match for that brat. They're even lying together. However, this guy is still acting like a dog. He doesn't seem to be dead yet. Who cares? He is just a *T pretentious criminal. When Zikuan heard the insult from the surrounding cultivators, he was so angry that he was lying on the ground. He gritted his teeth so hard that they made cracking sounds. In particular, there was a young man's corpse lying beside him. The young man's eyes were wide open, and he was staring at Zikuan. Apparently, he had died with his eyes wide open. Bastard! Wah plop! Zikuan was so angry that he fainted on the spot. Ever since he had started cultivating, he had never been so humiliated. Why didn't you ask Ben Xiao to kill him? In the tavern, Wang Kai frowned as he spoke with a displeased tone. If you want to kill him, you have to use your own strength. I am afraid that you will be killed by him. If that happens, who will help me? Xuanmiao Empress said flatly. Whoosh! When Wang Kai heard what Xuanmiao Empress had said, he squinted his eyes and looked at Zikuan, who was lying on the ground and unconscious. He had a million thoughts in his mind, and he wanted to kill him on the spot. No, if I don't kill him, I will not feel good. Whoosh! Having said that, Wang Kai was about to get up and jump down from the tavern. However, just as he was about to move, his body froze, and he could not move at all. Have you thought it through? If you kill him here, all the top powers in the purple gold star zone will come here. By then, you will not be able to stay in Tianzhou. Anyone who is related to you will die with you. Moreover, even if you escape to the extraterritorial starry sky, you will not be able to escape from the top powers in Archosaur Star. Xuanmiao Empress said flatly. Anyone who is related to me in Tianzhou? When Wang Kai heard that, he frowned and sneered disdainfully. Do they know who is related to Ben Xiao? Mu Sanyang? As long as she stays by Ben Xiao's side, no one will be able to hurt her. Congratulations to the host for bragging successfully. You have received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Since Zikuan knows about what happened to you in the lower plane, he might know about other things. Are you sure that Li Lingxian did not tell him? Xuanmiao Empress asked flatly. Let go of Ben Xiao. So be it. However, Ben Xiao does not want to let him go. Now, I can only spare his life for now. However, he has to be under Ben Xiao's nose every day. Wang Kai snorted unkindly. Buzz. As the pressure dissipated, Wang Kai jumped down from the tavern and came before Zikuan, who was unconscious. He waved his hand, and put Zi Kuan into the Buzhou Sky Palace. Big stupid cat, teach him a good lesson. Let him taste all kinds of torture, as long as he's still breathing. Wang Kai shrugged and said with an indifferent smile. Chapter 760. Cat Lord will naturally take care of such a small matter for you. I'll definitely let him live a life worse than death. However, you have to sneak into the sky-reaching church as soon as possible and bring me the real body of the sky-reaching tower. Lord Cat said as he stroked his long whiskers in the Buzhou Sky Palace. The real body of the sky-reaching tower? Wang Kai squinted his eyes when he heard that. However, he did not mind and nodded. Ben Shao will take care of this matter. Want to be a piece of cake? Don't talk about taking the Tower of Babel. Even annihilating the transcending heaven church would be as easy as blowing off dust. Wang Kai shrugged his shoulders and said with a smile, "Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points." Catlord did not respond at all. He was well aware of Wang Kai's current cultivation level and was too lazy to listen to his bragging. "Master, why are you standing outside? What happened just now?" Wang Kai frowned when he heard Zhu Beiji's voice. The woman who was taken away by Zhu Beiji was no longer by his side. "Are you done? Are you satisfied? Are you satisfied?" Wang Kai squinted his eyes and smiled mockingly. Zhu Beiji smiled and rubbed his hands in embarrassment. "Master, before I could do anything, she was taken away by the people from Moon Lake. Even I could not defeat them." Swoosh! As soon as this was said, Wang Kai's expression suddenly froze. Zhu Beiji, a peak 9th grade Star Guard, was defeated. Furthermore, he had been defeated by someone from the Moon Lake brothel. Where is Lao Sha? Where is he? Wang Kai's face changed slightly as he asked. Ahem. Zhu Beiji felt even more ashamed. He shrugged his head and said, "Someone took him away. He told me to come back and tell you that if you want to go back to Lao Sha, you have to go to the Moon Lake at night." He was kidnapped. Zhu Beiji was only here to pass on a message. F***CK. Such a situation caused the corner of Wang Kai's mouth to twitch fiercely, and black lines appeared on his forehead. "Who told you to act tough? Who asked you to be perverted? Who told you to be unable to walk when you saw beauty? Now you know the pain, right? No wonder Tang Sanzang is always captured by demons. With a disciple like you, it would be weird if he didn't get captured." Wang Kai said speechlessly. What does Tang Sanzang being captured by a demon have anything to do with me? Who told me to eat his flesh and become immortal? If it wasn't for Guanyin Bodhisattva stopping me, I would have eaten him myself. Zhu Beiji snorted unhappily. You're awesome." When Wang Kai heard this, he gave Zhu Beiji a thumbs up. He finally understood Zhu Beiji's true nature. "You go to the Buzhou Heavenly Palace first and help the big dumb cat entertain that wretch. Remember, keep him alive. Ben Shao wants to beat him up and have some fun." Wang Kai waved his hand and said with a headache, "All right, old pig, will definitely complete the task given to me by Master." Surprisingly, Zhu Beiji was extremely happy this time. There was even a look of joy in his eyes. When he saw this, Wang Kai was even more speechless. Zhu Beiji's cowardice could not be changed. It must be because the expert in the Moon Lake was extremely powerful that he wanted to hide and not show himself. "Get in." Wang Kai shook his head helplessly. He flipped his hand and sent Zhu Beiji into the Buzhou Heavenly Palace. He turned to look at the sky and smiled faintly. Ben Shao wants to see what kind of monster is in the Moon Lake. It's better not to go. The Master of the Moon Lake is a branch of the Holy Moon sect in the Mystic Moon Star Zone. Its strength is not weaker than the Purple Gold Star Zone. Similarly, it is not weaker than the Nine Heaven Star Zone. Lady Xuanmiao said faintly. Swoosh! When he heard this, Wang Kai's pupils shrank. Nine Heaven Star Zone? Isn't that the Star Zone where Lady Xuanmiao is? If it is not weaker than the Nine Heaven Star Zone, it means that the Holy Moon sect also has an expert that is not weaker than Lady Xuanmiao. What's wrong? Are you afraid? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and asked playfully. Haha, It's nothing more than being afraid. It's just that it has nothing to do with each other. If you agree to leave Tianzhou with me now, I can destroy the Moon Lake in Tianzhou, Lady Xuanmiao said faintly. What a big tone. However, it was also because of this that Wang Kai's guts had suddenly grown. If Lady Xuanmiao could destroy the Moon Lake in Tianzhou, it meant that the expert in the Moon Lake was not at the same level as Lady Xuanmiao. As long as he could not resist Lady Xuanmiao, he would have her by his side to protect him. Wouldn't he be able to act tough however he wanted? Haha, Bin Xiao is really a genius. He is an excellent schemer. Fortunately, Bin Xiao does not like to play politics. Otherwise, how could Tianzhou and even the Star Zone survive? Wang Kai shrugged his shoulders and said with a smile, "Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 7th grade Celestial Source Realm. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 7th grade. You have received 10 Celestial Source points. Wang Kai, don't think that I can take a blow for you. Although you won't die, the outcome will not change. You will be severely injured and can't be saved. It is very possible." Lady Xuanmiao snorted coldly. His tone was clearly mixed with annoyance. Naturally, she could guess what Wang Kai was planning. Bin Xiao was just bragging. Why do you take it seriously? Also, if you don't save Lao Sha, how can Bin Xiao be willing to leave Tianzhou with you? Even if you take Bin Xiao away by force, there is no benefit. Wang Kai shrugged his shoulders and said indifferently. Regarding this, Xuanmiao Empress remained silent and did not reply. "Get over here and save me." Suddenly, Wang Kai was startled by a feminine voice. "Mu Sanyang?" Whoosh! Immediately, Wang Kai's figure disappeared. In the blink of an eye, he arrived at the place where Mu Sanyang was. "What are you looking at? Why don't you kill these bastards quickly?" On the street, Mu Sanyang was surrounded by more than a dozen practitioners. Around her, there were many practitioners who gathered to watch the show. Sigh. It is a pity that such a beauty has caught the eye of the son of the city governor of Heaven Connect City. I heard that the young city governor has a lot of wives and concubines. There are nearly 1,000 of them. Moreover, every woman who has slept with him will mysteriously die a few days later. Quiet down. Do you want to die? Hearing the whispers of the crowd, Wang Kai squinted his eyes and looked at the dozen practitioners. The young man in the lead could not help but touch his chin and laugh loudly. Such ugly fools want to taint Bin Xiao's woman. Huh. Today, Bin Xiao will destroy Heaven Connect City. Whoosh! As Wang Kai's voice fell, everyone's eyes instantly turned to him. Chapter 761. Where did this hothead come from? How dare he threaten to destroy Heaven Connect City? He doesn't look old. He must have just come out to train. What a pity. He could have provoked anyone, but he had to provoke the young city lord. Young people don't know any better. They've been boasting too much. It's time to teach them a lesson. In an instant, many of the cultivators in the city mocked him coldly. They even took the initiative to make way for him. They all wanted to see where this young man got the courage to threaten to tear down Heaven Connect City in front of the young city lord. Of course, there were even more cultivators who wanted to see how Wang Kai was killed. Who are you? In Heaven Connect City, there have been people who have been enemies with me before, but none of them have survived. Are you sure that what you said just now is true? It's not too late to change your words and kneel on the ground to admit your mistake. The young city lord turned around and smiled coldly. However, Wang Kai ignored him. With his hands behind his back, he looked at Mu Sanyang and smiled faintly. Why are you still standing there? Come over here. Swoosh. Such words immediately caused everyone's expression to be startled. Even the young city lord was stunned on the spot. How dare he ignore the young city lord? He even wants the girl that the young city lord values to go to him. However, when Mu Sanyang swayed her charming body and walked toward Wang Kai, everyone's expression changed again. Some of them even showed a mocking look. This was the first time they had encountered a situation where the young city lord was humiliated. Do you see it now? She's Ben Sheo's woman. You bastards want to get your hands on her? How many heads do you bring with you? Do you have enough to lose? Bang! Wang Kai raised his eyebrows and sneered. He stretched out his arms and held Mu Sanyang in his arms. Feeling the softness and elasticity of her chest, his heart was filled with ecstasy. Damn bastard, for the sake of saving me, I'll let you take advantage of me. Mu Sanyang's head gently pressed on Wang Kai's shoulder. Her beautiful eyes were overflowing with lust as she thought to herself, "Bastard! Men, quickly kill this brat." When a young city lord saw this scene, he suddenly roared angrily. He waved his hand and ordered the dozen guards to attack Wang Kai. TSK, TSK, it's just a few trash at the celestial realm and heavenly Tao realm. To think you have the nerve to show off in front of this young master. Scram! Wang Kai sneered disdainfully and waved his hand in contempt. Buzz! Bang, 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 bang! Bang! As the figures of those practitioners disappeared, everyone was dumbfounded on the spot. How can he have such a cultivation? He can beat the young city lord's guards in the heavenly path realm and divine realm with just one move. Everyone swallowed a mouthful of saliva. They were shocked by the scene in front of them. He couldn't believe that this young man could be so powerful. Who are you? I'm the young city lord of heaven-reaching city. My father is the grand elder of heaven-reaching sect. If you don't want to die, kill yourself quickly. The young city lord was also shocked when he saw this. His face was pale, and his voice trembled as he shouted loudly. At the same time, his figure was constantly retreating. Plop! In the end, he was careless and fell to the ground. He was shocked by Wang Kai. F***CK, with such little courage, you have the nerve to come out and pick up girls. Don't you feel ashamed? Even Ben Shao is ashamed of you. And your father, the grand elder of heaven-reaching sect, TSK, TSK. I'm not afraid to tell you that even if the sect master of heaven-reaching sect comes, he will have to kneel down to Ben Shao and shout that he is convinced. Wang Kai curled his lips and sneered with contempt. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have gained 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Whoosh! As soon as his voice fell, everyone was shocked. They thought that he was a hothead, but his cultivation was so terrifying. Moreover, he dared to insult the sect master of heaven-reaching sect in the main city under the jurisdiction of heaven-reaching sect. Did he not want to live anymore? Or did he really have the ability to not be afraid of heaven-reaching sect? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Even Empyrean Palace, the first among the 3,000 forces, would not be so brazen as to say that they would kill the sect master of heaven-reaching sect. The young city lord was not a fool, and he immediately believed in his guess. No matter who you are, since you have bragged so much, you should be prepared to be executed. However, if you admit your mistake now, give me your woman, and kneel down to break your limbs, Ben Shao will spare your life. The young city lord sneered. In his opinion, Wang Kai was just bragging, and he was just a hothead with some cultivation. In fact, it was exactly so for Wang Kai, who felt uncomfortable all over if he did not brag for a day. Even his friends did not know which words were true and which were false. Little bastard, you really have to die to repay the heavens. How dare you threaten to rob Ben Sheo's woman? Forget it. You can go to hell. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and smiled contemptuously. Whoosh! As soon as his voice fell, Wang Kai waved his hand, and a transparent palm print flew out and directly imprinted on the young city lord's chest. With a cracking sound, the young city lord's body directly exploded on the spot, turning into a rain of blood sprinkling on the ground. When everyone saw this scene, they all swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Especially the scarlet bloodstains on the ground. It caused their hearts to beat violently without stopping. They could not believe that the dignified young city lord was killed so easily. If you don't have the strength, why are you pretending here? You're always talking about your father. Do you think the world of cultivation is a peaceful world? Is it useful to compare to your father? Idiot! Wang Kai curled his lips and snorted disdainfully. Although he said so, looking at the appearance of the surrounding cultivators, it was really useful to compare to his father. Bastard! Who is it? How dare you kill my son? Suddenly, an astonishingly loud roar approached from afar. That frightening, oppressive might shook the entire heavenly-reaching school, causing it to sway endlessly. A celestial source, realm expert. Wang Kai suddenly raised his eyebrows and narrowed his eyes, looking at the distant sky with a playful expression. Naturally, he could sense that the expert was still on his way to sky-reaching city. It's the City Lord. The City Lord is here. This kid will definitely die. Yes, the City Lord is the Grand Elder of the Sky-reaching Church. I heard that he just came back with the sect leader from a mysterious place. His cultivation is unfathomable. Oh, where's the young man who killed the young City Lord? As the discussion reached the end, they suddenly realized that Wang Kai was nowhere to be seen. What the F***? He ran away? Chapter 762. Why are you running away? Weren't you acting cool just now? If you stay there, you'll be killed by the future Lord of Tongtian City. In the void, Mu Sanyang pushed Wang Kai away, her beautiful eyes filled with disdain. Wang Kai shrugged and said casually, "If you kill the Grand Elder, other elders will come. If you kill all the elders, the hierarch will come. If this continues, how can Ben Shao save your sister?" It was not yet time to openly fall out with the sky-reaching church. Otherwise, all his previous efforts would be in vain. Although he would not die with Xuanmiao Empress protecting him, he would not achieve his goal. Wang Kai did not believe that Xuanmiao Empress would help him repeatedly attack the sky-reaching church. "I'm sorry." Mu Sanyang's eyes darkened, and she lowered her head, like a little girl who had made a mistake. "You know you're wrong? Why don't you make up for it?" Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and said playfully, "Make up for it? Ow!" Mu Sanyang clenched her teeth. She knew that Wang Kai was up to no good, but she could not refuse him since he was trying so hard to save her sister. "It's very simple. Let's go back to the Buzhou Heavenly Palace first. This young master has an important matter to attend to. This matter will determine the success or failure of our infiltration into the transcending Heaven Church," Wang Kai said with a serious look. Whoosh! Hearing this, Mu Sanyang's good impression of him disappeared in an instant. It sounded nice, but in the end he just wanted to send her away so that he could go to Moon Lake to have some fun. Pervert. Send me to Buzhou Palace. I don't want to see you. Mu Sanyang gritted her teeth and scolded. Buzz. Wang Kai didn't hesitate at all. He waved his hand and sent the reluctant Mu Sanyang into Buzhou Heavenly Palace. If she followed him, how could he go to Moon Lake? Besides, Lao Sha was still being held captive there. Men are all like this. They like the new and hate the old. In order to get the new, they will abandon the old at any time. Xuanmiao Empress's indifferent voice suddenly came into his ears. It was not difficult to hear her disdain for Wang Kai from her tone. Oh, what new and old? Mu Sanyang is not Ben Xiao's woman. I just said that I saved her. We haven't even consummated our marriage. Wang Kai curled his lips and snorted with dissatisfaction. Consummating your marriage, Xuanmiao Empress said coldly. F***CK. What do you mean this young master is only SOSO? What did Ben Xiao do to offend you? I didn't even say that you're this young master's woman. So why are you so anxious? Or are you infatuated with Ben Xiao's heroic figure and want to be Ben Xiao's woman? Wang Kai squinted his eyes and said in a mocking tone, Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Bang! Suddenly, Wang Kai's back seemed to have suffered a heavy blow, and his figure was directly slapped into the void. It seems that Ben Xiao was right. Otherwise, why would you be so angry? However, I'm sorry, Ben Xiao is also a person of status. Such a powerful Ben Xiao will not accept the love of a woman. Even if you're Xuanmiao Empress, you're not qualified. Ben Xiao will not like you. Wang Kai, who fell from the sky like a meteor, had an extremely calm expression on his face as he laughed continuously. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1,000,000 experience points and 1,000 bragging points. The gap between him and Xuanmiao Empress was too great. It would be a fool's dream to stop his fall. Since he could not resist, he could only enjoy it. Then you can fall to the ground and repent. Bang! Rumble. Following Xuanmiao Empress's angry and cold voice, Wang Kai's figure also smashed into the ground. Under the huge impact, a deep hole was formed in the ground. What's going on? Did something fall down? Could it be a treasure? No. I just saw a person fall. Nonsense. How can a person fall and create such a huge pit and cause such a huge commotion? That's right. If it was really a person, even a heavenly Tao realm cultivator would not be able to withstand such a terrible fall. Moreover, it must have been hit by an even stronger expert to cause such a commotion. In an instant, many cultivators rushed over. They stood at the edge of the deep pit and looked down. Ahem, damn it. Luckily, Ben Shao has an invulnerable body. Otherwise, if it were anyone else, they would be crippled even if they did not die from Xuanmiao Empress's fall. That bitch is too cruel. Wang Kai got up with an angry look on his face and raised his hand to wipe the dirt off his face. F***CK. It's really a person. He's fine. Unharmed. How is this possible? Could it be that he fell from the sky on his own accord? Is he training his physique? Hearing the exclamations of the crowd, Wang Kai's mouth twitched. Who would train their physique like that? Wasn't he just looking for trouble? Sigh. After cultivating for hundreds of millions of years, I have reached the pinnacle. It's unfortunate that I have no opponent. Even if I seek death, it's not enough to fulfill my wish. How sad. How lamentable. As Wang Kai's figure slowly floated up into the sky, he spoke words that made everyone speechless. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1,000,000 experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Pretentious prick. Damn it. After all this fuss, he fell on his own accord and purposely caused such a commotion. If you want to die, just slit your own throat. Even a heavenly soldier realm expert would not die after falling on his own accord. Ignore him. He's just a pretentious prick who likes to brag. When everyone heard this, their faces darkened as they cursed a few times. Then they turned around and dispersed. Haha, blame it on Ben Shao for being too strong. He can't die even if he wants to. No one will believe me even if I say it. The world is so cold. Wang Kai shrugged and shook his head as he sighed. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1,000,000 experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 8th grade celestial origin realm. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the next grade. You have received 10 celestial origin points. Convert all the celestial origin points into experience. Wang Kai urged. Congratulations to the host for receiving 900,000 experience points and 90 celestial origin points. If you really want to die, I can grant you your wish. However, before that, you must complete my task. Xuanmiao Empress said indifferently. Wang Kai's mouth twitched when he heard this. If Xuanmiao Empress really attacked, he would definitely die again. Moreover, he would not be able to resist at all. Ben Shao was just bragging. Do you have to be so serious? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows and snorted in dissatisfaction. Haha, I was just joking. You don't have to be so serious. I really want to kill you, but I won't. Otherwise, you would already be dead. Xuanmiao Empress said indifferently. Chapter 763. Since when did the Xuanmiao Empress know how to joke? Previously, he had always been cold and aloof, high and mighty. Wang Kai raised his eyebrows and was secretly surprised. He could not help but rub his nose and sigh. Sigh. It seems that Ben Shao's charm is indeed powerful. He can even make the Xuanmiao Empress learn how to joke. This kind of charm that can infect others is really a sin. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1,000,000 experience and 1,000 bragging points. Hee hee. Then what kind of person do you think I am? Why can't I joke? Also, what does it have to do with you? The Xuan Miao Empress smiled indifferently. The mockery in her tone was extremely obvious. High and mighty, pure as ice and jade, indifferent and emotionless. Unlike a woman of the mortal world who is untainted by the mortal world, she is like the bright crescent moon hanging high in the sky, cold and aloof. It would be better to say that she is just admiring herself. Ha ha! Wang Kai shrugged and smiled with an indifferent expression. Whoosh! Hearing such words to describe herself, the Xuan Miao Empress, who was in the void, was stunned. Her beautiful eyes stared at Wang Kai with surprise and amazement. Even if the description was a little exaggerated, the words were not something that a hooligan like him would say. I didn't expect that a hooligan like you, who only knows how to brag and pretend to be handsome, would have read the books of the saints. This really surprised me. However, what you said is both right and wrong. Self-admiration is right, but everything else is wrong. The Xuan Miao Empress pursed her red lips and smiled with self-mockery. Wang Kai's mouth twitched when he heard this. He looked at her with disdain and said, Bitch, how narcissistic are you? Self-admiration? Bin Xiao can praise you, but it's not up to you to say it. Bang! Plop! However, as Wang Kai expected, he was greeted with a heavy blow. His body fell from the sky and was slapped into the deep pit again. Bin Xiao was hit for telling the truth. This is unreasonable. It seems that it's time to change the heavenly rules that Bin Xiao set countless years ago. Wang Kai got up, shook his head and sighed. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1,000,000 experience and 1,000 bragging points. Set the heavenly rules? You still want to change it? The Xuan Miao Empress's eyes were filled with disdain, but at the same time, there was a trace of amusement. There was no one else in the Tianzhou who could boast to this extent. When it's night to go to the Moon Lake, remember to be careful. Following the Xuan Miao her reminder, to be careful, to be careful, to be careful, to be careful. Sometimes, even if he wanted to be careful, he couldn't control himself. Alas, this young master is too awesome, too powerful, so invincible that no one can stop this young master's footsteps. No matter where I show off, I can show off beautifully and brilliantly. This kind of thing is really sad, and others can't understand it. Wang Kai sighed with a rather emotional expression. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1,000,000 experience and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through the realm and reaching grade 9 astral source. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through the realm and obtaining 10 astral source. Host, Wang Kai occupation, Star Warrior Realm. Grade 9 astral source star technique. None star technique. None identification. Torch Dragon's Eye equipment. Ever-changing fan star power. Level 1 astral source. 10 physique. Invulnerable guardian beast. None bragging points. 98,000 experience. 06000000. After hearing the notification and seeing the scene that appeared in his mind, Wang Kai casually glanced at it. Then, he used his mind to make it disappear. My experience points have increased to a whopping 6,000,000 again. This also proves that I'll have to brag 6 times in the future if I want to break through the next realm. I'd better go to the Moon Lake earlier. It's just dark, it'll be easy. Wang Kai closed his eyes slightly and thought to himself. Buzz. As Wang Kai closed his eyes, the sky turned dark instantly. Such a situation also caused Xuan Miao to turn pale with fright. She wasn't shocked because the sky suddenly turned dark. It was because Wang Kai was the one who caused this phenomenon. The darkness previously and the tragic deaths of hundreds of thousands of cultivators in a certain city were also caused by you? Xuan Miao asked in a deep voice with a frown. Don't talk to Bin Xiao. Bin Xiao is going to close his eyes and go to the Moon Lake. Wang Kai waved his hand. Relying on his perception, he slowly stepped into the air. Xuan Miao blinked her beautiful eyes when she heard this. Her eyes were filled with excitement and other emotions. At first, she thought that the Tianji elder was playing with her when he said that Wang Kai was the fated one. But now, just by closing his eyes, he could make the sky turn dark. Such power was indeed worthy of her fated one. He would definitely be able to help her. Moon Lake. As the skies suddenly turned dark, the entire Tianzhou fell into panic and fear. But at the Moon Lake, no one panicked too much. Or rather, it was just a short period of panic. After that, it turned into joy and they rushed to the Moon Lake in groups. Once night fell, the Moon Lake would become a paradise for countless cultivators in Heaven Connect City. It could be said that they really hoped that the sky would stay dark. At the same time, at the center of the lake, which was hundreds of miles wide, a huge ship suddenly lit up. Beautiful women in revealing clothes also appeared at the edge of the huge ship. They waved their jade-like hands and greeted the many cultivators who were walking on the water. No one knew that in the deepest part of the huge ship, in a room, there were two women with white veils covering their faces. They looked at each other with serious eyes. "Sister, what happened?" In front of the table, a woman in a purple dress asked softly with a pleasant voice. On the bed, the woman in a white dress sat. Her beautiful eyes looked at the night sky outside the window. She frowned and shook her head. "I don't know. It's the same as before. The sky turns dark as soon as it wants to. Moreover, it's maintained for a longer time this time. Damn it. Originally, we wanted to rest. Who knew that the sky would suddenly turn dark? Those stinky men in the city would also come. We can't even not open our doors to do business." The woman in a purple dress said angrily. Her watery eyes were filled with anger. It could be seen that as night workers, they also did not want the sky to turn dark. Sister knows that you hate men. However, we came here from the Mystic Moonstar with a mission. Don't ruin all of our plans because of a moment of anger. The woman in a white dress, sitting on the bed, said with eyes full of blame. "All right, Sister Qin, you're amazing. You like men the most." The woman in a purple dress, called Hua, snorted with slight displeasure. Chapter 764. Don't mess around. Quickly call Sister Qi and Sister Shu over. We four sisters still have to secretly look for the person who answered the order. Qin said reproachfully. Hearing this, Qin Hua pouted, causing the purple veil to bulge. However, she still obeyed and nodded. She bowed slightly and walked out of the room. For the Mystic Moon sect, it's a good thing that the sky is dark, but if it's too dark and even the light of the moon is covered, then it's not a good thing. Qin shook her head and sighed. Damn it, there are at least 4 hours before the sky turns dark. In order to keep the Moon Lake open, Bin Xiao has to close his eyes for another 4 hours. At the same time, Wang Kai, who had just stepped into the giant ship, curled his lips and cursed in a low voice in annoyance. With your power, if I could have it, I would really hope that the sky would stay dark. In this way, wouldn't it confirm your description? I'm like the cold moon hanging in the sky, admiring myself. Shuamiao Empress smiled faintly. Moreover, her tone was extremely gentle, completely without the previous indifference. Such a contrast really caused the corner of Wang Kai's mouth to twitch. For a moment, he didn't know what was going on. Previously, her tone was still cold, but now it suddenly became so gentle. To be honest, Wang Kai really couldn't stand it. Are you in heat? Bang. Plop. Before Wang Kai finished speaking, his back was hit hard, so much so that his body directly smashed onto the deck of the giant ship. This caused many of the surrounding cultivators and the women of Moon Lake to look over in astonishment. What are you looking at? Haven't you seen a blind person fall? If you look again, I'll make you all blind. Wang Kai curled his lips and sensed the surrounding gazes. He suddenly scolded in displeasure. Little brother, you're in such a good mood. Even if you're blind, you still want to go to the brothel. The eyes are blind, but the heart isn't blind. If you can't see, it's fine as long as you can touch, right, little brother? Ha ha ha. In an instant, the surrounding cultivators all laughed loudly. They did not notice at all that because of the word brothel, killing intent flashed in the eyes of the women on the boats. Cut the crap. Don't call a good place like Moon Lake a brothel. Do you have any culture at all? Do you still have any morals? Moon Lake is the most beautiful and clean place in Tontian City. Oh no, in the entire Tianzhou. In order to make everyone happy, they did not hesitate to suffer such humiliation. You guys, on the other hand, went from bad to worse. You deserve to die. Whoosh! As Wang Kai cursed loudly with righteous indignation, all the women's eyes lit up. They all stared at Wang Kai with appreciation and gratitude. Among them, there were many women who expressed their love for Wang Kai. Boring. I can't be bothered to argue with a blind man. When the cultivators saw this, they realized that they had already offended all the women of Moon Lake. They could only wave their hands and not dare to continue arguing. Otherwise, they would definitely be chased out of Moon Lake. Be careful, young master. Let me help you. Me too, me too. In an instant, under the incredulous gazes of the cultivators, almost all the beautiful women ran towards Wang Kai. Furthermore, their voices were gentle and their movements were careful as they surrounded Wang Kai in the middle. Such a beautiful thing had been taken away by a blind man. Damn it! If I had known earlier, I would have taken the opportunity to say a few words. Bastard, he actually used us to help himself. Damn it! Forget it. Since it has come to this, let's not anger the beauties anymore. Let's go hunt in the boat. Sigh. In the end, all the cultivators who were filled with anger could only sigh. They waved their hands and helplessly walked into the palace-like pavilion on the boat. Ah, young master, don't scratch. Ah, oh, young master, let me help you. Don't move, young master, you're so naughty. Did you do it on purpose? Don't talk nonsense. Can't you feel that young master has no cultivation at all? I'm sure he came here on a small boat. We're just joking. Why are you so agitated? Young master. Oh, you touched me there. Hearing the shyness of the women and the ecstasy of his palm, Wang Kai's heart was blooming with joy. For the first time, he felt that pretending to be blind had some benefits. The system could hide his cultivation, but he couldn't see it. Moreover, he was surrounded by beauties. He could reach out his evil palm at will. Bin Xiao is so smart. This is such a good opportunity. If I don't take advantage of it, when will I? Wang Kai squinted his eyes and laughed excitedly. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Ah, young master, you're so naughty. That, you can't touch there. Ah, you're still touching it. Following which, amidst the shouts and fake reprimands of the women, Wang Kai was escorted into the palace-like pavilion by hundreds of beautiful women. He's too king angry. Damn it, that brat must be pretending. It doesn't matter if he's pretending or not. He's taken all the good things. At the same time, the cultivators who had just arrived on the giant ship saw that all the women had left with Wang Kai. For a moment, a cold wind blew past, and it was extremely awkward. Elder sister, this person is quite interesting. Yes, I also think that he's very interesting. He actually didn't hesitate to go against the cultivators who came for the sake of all the sisters. In the depths of the giant ship, in a room, 4 women with peerless figures were gathered around a table. Their beautiful eyes were focused on a floating mirror at the center of the table as they discussed animatedly. The scene reflected in the mirror was that of Wang Kai, who was being escorted by hundreds of beautiful women. Interest in my ass. He's purposely pretending to be blind. He even tried to make a move on the sisters. How despicable. Xinhua coldly reprimanded. Her jade-like hands were clenched so tightly that they turned white. Hearing this, Qin Shi and Qin Shu, who had just arrived, looked at each other with strange expressions. In the end, they looked at their elder sister, Qin Qin. He's indeed pretending to be blind. It's also difficult to detect his cultivation. If he doesn't have a treasure on him, then his cultivation must be higher than us 4 sisters. However, he's indeed very interesting. Regardless of whether he's pretending to be blind or not, he did speak up for us sisters and angered all the cultivators who came for him. Qin frowned and smiled gently. Bang! He's indeed pretending to be blind. I'll go over and expose him. I'll beat him up and throw him into the lake. Hua, who was ranked 4th, suddenly slammed the table. She immediately stood up and left the room aggressively. Elder sister, are we just going to let Sister Hua go over like this? Qin Shi said with a worried gaze. Qin Shu, who was at the side, was also hesitant. If she let Qin Hua go over and make a scene, it would inevitably arouse the other cultivators who came for him. After all, the Moon Lake never lost their temper at their guests, let alone use force. It's fine. Let her go. She knows what she's doing. Moreover, I also want to see how powerful this young master is. Who knows? He might be the person we're looking for. Qin's curved eyebrows were like a painting as she laughed softly. Chapter 765. Inside the huge ship, Wang Kai was sitting at the round table happily. He was surrounded by hundreds of beautiful women who were laughing and chatting happily. It could be said that he was extremely carefree. Such a scene also caused the other cultivators to be secretly furious. Pairs of bloodshot eyes glared at Wang Kai as if they wanted to kill him. If looks could kill, Wang Kai would have died tens of thousands of times. Young master, what's your name? Come, young master, let me feed you grapes. What are you doing, young master? Under Wang Kai's demonic clutches, it could be said that the wind was blowing and the water was flowing. The feeling of drifting souls was also constantly accompanying them. Damn bastard. Damn brat. Son of a bitch. The surrounding cultivators were all secretly cursing. They originally thought that they would enter the pavilion and find other beauties to accompany them. However, who would have thought that because Wang Kai was surrounded by so many women, the other beautiful women in the pavilion also took the initiative to approach him? They were all in high spirits. Damn it, are we here to watch his performance today? This brat is really too despicable. He must be severely punished. Severely punished? How can he be severely punished? Don't forget that the Moon Lake has a rule. Violence is not allowed. Sigh, looks like we came here for nothing today. Damn it, all the good things have been taken by this brat. Although many cultivators were angry, they could not do anything. Without the company of beauties, they could only drink in a corner and watch Wang Kai chatting and laughing with the other women. It could be said that they were extremely miserable. They wanted to leave, but they could not bear to. If they did not leave, they would still have to bear with it and watch. Why did he have to go through all this trouble for himself? Why are all of you crowding over there? Why aren't you quickly dispersing and drinking a few cups with the guests who came to the Moon Lake? Suddenly, as a pleasant voice was heard, it immediately caused the entire pavilion to become silent. It's the 4th young mistress, Miss Hua. 4th young mistress, please judge for us. That blind man is really despicable. He actually took all the prostitutes, cough cough, all the women. Bullshit blind man. I think he must be pretending. 4th young miss, please punish him severely. In an instant, all the cultivators raised their heads and looked at the beautiful woman who appeared at the entrance of the pavilion. She was wearing a purple dress, and her purple hair fluttered in the wind. Her figure was exquisite, and her eyes were twinkling like stars. Her thin lips were sparkling and translucent, and her nose and sharp chin were proof of her beauty. 4th miss, when the ladies saw this, they hurriedly stood up and stood in a row as they bowed to Qin Hua. They lowered their heads slightly and pursed their lips tightly. Their expressions were filled with panic. What are you standing there for? Why aren't you going to entertain the guests? Qin Hua frowned and angrily rebuked. Yes, 4th miss. The numerous ladies once again bowed and accepted the order. They turned to look at Wang Kai with reluctance in their eyes before dispersing. They forced smiles as they welcomed the guests who had come to have fun. If possible, they really did not want to chat and laugh with those guests at the same table. Even if they would be taken advantage of by Wang Kai, they were still willing to do so. After all, Wang Kai had spoken a few words of justice for them. If it were not for the fact that they had no other choice, as the dignified disciples of the Mystic Moon sect, How could they accompany others to eat, drink, and play? Umph, a group of ungrateful bastards. If it were not for the fact that you still have some use, you would all be dismembered by 5 horses. Xinhua coldly glanced at those cultivators and snorted inwardly. Naturally, her killing intent was intense toward the word prostitute that some of the cultivators had just said. Even if they changed their words in time, they could not escape the charge of discrimination. Alas, fourth miss, you actually discriminated against a blind man. The heavens are really unfair. The heavens cannot tolerate this. Even if Ben Shao is a blind man, it is not that he did not pay for coming here to have fun. Moreover, in Ben Shao's opinion, all the sisters present here have been wronged. It is a pity that Ben Shao is alone and weak. He is also a blind man who sees people as evil. He can't do anything to help. Wang Kai shook his head and sighed again and again. His expression and words were simply heartbreaking for those who heard it and shed tears for those who saw it. And in fact, it was exactly so. Because of Wang Kai's continuous words, all the beautiful ladies immediately held handkerchiefs, covered their charming faces, and sobbed softly with tears in their eyes. When they looked at Wang Kai again, some of them even revealed their love. Of course, more of them were grateful. If they were not in the same position, they would not be able to understand the feelings of those words. It was precisely because those ladies were accompanying others to eat, drink, and play that those words pierced their sore spot. Ha, little bastard, this move of yours is very skillful and superb. Suddenly, the fourth Mrs. Cold laughter that was filled with mockery resounded in his mind. Instantly, it caused Wang Kai's brows to twitch slightly. Sisters, please properly entertain the guests. I will be the one to entertain this person. Xinhua lightly laughed. Her smile was like 100 flowers blooming, extremely enchanting. Whoosh! When those words came out, the eyes of the beautiful ladies lit up. They looked at Xinhua with joy in their eyes. Furthermore, they felt that it would be better to have Xinhua as a companion. After all, Xinhua was one of the 4 masters of Moonlake. Damn, what's going on? Shouldn't he be severely punished? Damn it, why does fourth miss have to accompany that brat? Isn't this too unfair? In an instant, many cultivators stood up and cursed in anger. All of them were extremely sullen in their hearts. If it was possible, they also wanted Xinhua to accompany them. After all, she was the master of Moonlake. Moreover, she never accompanied guests. However, Xinhua paid no attention to them. Such a situation caused many cultivators to be inwardly vexed, but they could only swallow their anger and endure it. Stinking brat, are you pretending to be blind to challenge me? Xinhua's figure swayed as she sat beside Wang Kai. Their shoulders were only a finger's distance apart. Even at such a distance, it caused bursts of fragrance to enter Wang Kai's nose. That's not true. Ben Shao has never been pretentious and has always been magnanimous. He's a good man. If you don't believe me, you can find an empty room and have a frank meeting. You can also take a good look and see if Ben Shao will dump you. I'm not boasting, but no matter how beautiful a woman is, she's just a stinking bag with Ben Shao. There's no attraction at all. Wang Kai shrugged his shoulders and smiled with an indifferent expression. Congratulations to the host for successfully boasting. You've obtained 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Whoosh! Xinhua's beautiful eyes were instantly enraged when she heard that. Strands of killing intent brewed and flashed in her eyes. Her jade-like hands that were hidden in her sleeves were clenched so tightly that they turned white. She couldn't believe that Wang Kai would actually use such words to take advantage of her. It's just as I expected. This person is an out-and-out bastard. Xinhua tightly clenched her teeth and cursed in her heart. Chapter 766. Ah, why is Mrs. Face so ugly? Could be that you ate too much? Choked? Or did you hold it in? Do you need to find a handsome and otherworldly man like this young master to vent your feelings? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows and said with a teasing smile, Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Whoosh! Hua's gaze instantly froze when she heard this. Her jade-like hand lightly knocked on the table as she sneered with disdain. Aren't you blind? Since that's the case, how can you tell whether my face is good or bad? Miss, could it be that you think that Ben Xiao let it slip? Are you an idiot? If Ben Xiao would make such a simple mistake, wouldn't he be an idiot? Perception, perception, aura, aura. Do you understand? Wang Kai curled his lips and said with a disdainful expression, Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1,000,000 experience and 1,000 bragging points. A blind man who claimed that he did not practice martial arts was talking about perception. Hua instantly became even more certain of her guess. She swept her gaze around and saw that there were many cultivators secretly looking over. Helpless, she could only force a smile and say, Young master, do you want to move to a place where there is no one and have a chat? Go to a place where there is no one. Have a chat? Wang Kai could not help but rub his nose when he heard this. He secretly thought that this woman knew how to play. She even wanted to trick him to a place where there was no one and punish him. Although Wang Kai wasn't afraid, he didn't want to let her have her way. Forget it. Although Ben Xiao likes beauties, he does not want to have any relationship with them. Even if you have held it in for a long time and want to find Ben Xiao to vent, I'm sorry, but Ben Xiao is not a person that anyone can do just because they want to. Wang Kai shrugged and said with an indifferent smile, Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1,000,000 experience and 1,000 bragging points. You this damned bastard. Hua was so angry that her delicate body trembled slightly. She gritted her teeth so hard that they were about to shatter. She had never imagined that Wang Kai would actually be so cunning. Young master, you don't want to make a fool of yourself in front of everyone, right? If I crippled you here and threw you into the Moon Lake, you would be very embarrassed, right? Everyone says that men care a lot about their reputation. I believe that young master must be the same, right? Hua tapped her jade-like fingers on the table as she looked at Wang Kai with a teasing gaze. Oh, Ben Xiao has always been shameless. You can make your move now, but before you do, you have to think carefully. Moon Lake has always had a rule that forbids violence. If you, the owner, break it first, TSK. Looks like Moon Lake will be deserted in the future. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled faintly. Whoosh! As soon as he said that, Hua entered a frenzied state of internal conflict. Indeed, what Wang Kai said was right. If the rules of Moon Lake were broken, who would dare to come here to eat, drink, and play in the future? Then wouldn't the Mystic Moon Sect's plan fail? However, if they didn't use force in public, Hua really couldn't tolerate Wang Kai's suicidal behavior. It doesn't matter if you don't come with me. I want to see if you can still survive when Moon Lake closes its doors. Oof. Hua snorted with a cold expression. A threat? Wang Kai shrugged when he heard this. He could not help but laugh in his heart. This little girl was very naive. Since he dared to provoke them, how could he allow them to rob and kill him halfway? What realm is this little girl at? Wang Kai frowned and secretly transmitted his voice. First grade, Star General. In the void, Xuan Miao Empress faintly replied. First grade, Star General. The third realm of the 10-star realm? Star Source, Star Guard, Star General, Star Master. Ha! You're just a first-grade Star General, yet you dare to say such bold words to Ben Xiao. Do you know that even Star Kings can be easily killed by Ben Xiao? Wang Kai raised his hand and took the wine cup. He raised his head and downed it. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You received 1,000,000 experience and 1,000 bragging points. Whoosh! As soon as he said that, Hua's delicate body trembled slightly. She suddenly turned her head and stared at Wang Kai with eyes full of shock. She didn't expect that Wang Kai could see through her realm. In that case, if Wang Kai wasn't in the same realm as her, then he was stronger than her. Who are you? What do you want to do by coming to Moon Lake? Hua asked with a solemn expression. At this point, Hua completely trusted Wang Kai. He definitely wasn't here to take advantage of her sisters. With such a cultivation, what kind of woman couldn't he find? Was there a need for him to come to Moon Lake to seek pleasure? Uh-huh. Ben Shao has never changed his name. He's Wang Kai, the leader of Poke Heaven's sect. Listen carefully, it's Poke, not Poke. As long as this young master is willing, anytime, anywhere, I only need to extend a finger, and the heavens can be broken. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through and becoming a first-grade Star Guard. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through and becoming a first-grade Star Source. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through and becoming a second-grade Star Power. Host, Wang Kai Profession, Star Warrior Realm. First-grade Star Guard Star Technique. None Star Technique. None Identification. Torch Dragon Eye Equipment. Ever-changing Fan Star Power. Level 2 Star Source. 20 Physique. Invulnerable Guardian Beast. None Bragging Points. 105000 Experience. 06000000 Poke. Heaven Sect? Hearing his words, Qin Hua's lips twitched and her beautiful eyes were filled with bewilderment and a trace of disdain. She was bewildered because she had never heard of Poke Heaven Sect before. She was naturally disdainful of Poke Heaven Sect. No, you're Wang Kai. Whoosh! Qin Hua suddenly stood up and slammed her slender hand on the table as she hollered in shock. Such a scene also caused many of the surrounding cultivators to be startled, and they all turned their gazes over. Wang Kai? Could it be that Wang Kai who is wanted by the city lord of Tongtian City? But that's not right. I heard that Wang Kai is not blind and has a terrifyingly strong cultivation level. Yes, this person must be pretending to be Wang Kai again. He clearly has no cultivation level, and yet he still claims to be Wang Kai. In this day and age, there are even people pretending to be wanted criminals. After the shock, many cultivators pursed their lips and sneered in disdain. Naturally, no one believed that the blind man who was fancied by so many women would be Wang Kai. Hearing this, Wang Kai also shook his head helplessly and sighed sadly. In this day and age, no one believes Ben Shao when he speaks the truth. However, this is good too. It saves the city lord of Tongtian City from coming to find trouble with Ben Shao. It also saves Ben Shao's hands from being stained with blood again. Continue bragging. Even a blind man knows how to act pretentious. Seeing is really better than hearing about it 100 times. Many cultivators pursed their lips in disdain and took Wang Kai as a self-directed act to deceive them. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.